A very warm welcome to all delegates to the maiden IPCA virtual KTSS, Knowledge and Technology Sharing Seminar. I am Jatin Agarwal, past president of IPCA, your host for the afternoons, today and tomorrow. Friends, last few months have been marked by unprecedented VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. I hope this is the only dark COVID night in our lifetime, and such a pandemic is never seen again by us or our children. IPCA, a 1,500 member plus fastest growing association of paint and coatings manufacturers, raw material suppliers, has been at the forefront of sharing knowledge through its pioneering efforts in taking the association to digital platforms through IPCA Gleaners, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and recent webinars, a birthchild of COVID and lockdowns. TechWeb webinars are now a modern concept of IPCA virtual webinars similar to the one you are attending today. We have often heard that we should not let a crisis go waste. Moving away from our forte and passion of hosting conferences and seminars, our president, Mr. Sagar Goel, accepted this challenge of hosting webinars. In a short span, IPCA has become the leading association in hosting quality events that are professionally managed with presentations and sessions with a perfect balance of content and brevity. I, on behalf of IPCA, welcome our president, Mr. Sagar Goel, and our patrons and Apex body past presidents, vice president, governing body members, regional post holders, our hardworking conveners, our delegates and members. I'm pleased to inform you that we have created yet another milestone of having crossed 650 delegates, and even today, the only limiting factor is the capacity of our Zoom webinar room. Thanks a lot. However, as we speak, this webinar is being streamed live on few of our social media platforms. We thank you all for your presence with the promise that this webinar spread over 2 days shall be very informative, akin to its theme of refreshing basics, and shall refresh your memories and motivate you to use this knowledge to grow your business. Friends, at the bottom of the screen, you have an icon of Q&A. We request you to post your questions here, and our Vice President, Mr. Rohan Bhasin, shall moderate questions and ask the selected questions to the panelists. We take this opportunity to thank our sponsors and speakers for the event. We would like to thank you all for your gracious support and attendance today. We are truly emboldened by your overwhelming participation. Now let me take you through the speakers lined up for today and tomorrow. Today, we have the first presentation on mixing and dispersion the Tipco way by Mr. Ritesh Sharma. Then, exciting color synergies by Mr. Amol Mulajkar from Saujanya Color Private Limited. Next one would be enhanced coating performance with BYK Rheology Solutions by Mr. Abhijit Avalaskar, BYK India Private Limited. We have the privilege of having Professor Hiten Muchalla from Jain Global Management School, who will be our management speaker on the topic of growth mindset. The closing remarks for the day will be given by our Vice President, Mr. Rohan Bhasin. Tomorrow, we will be starting at the same time, that is 2 p.m., through the same link that has been provided to you. The first presentation will be given by Mr. Surendra Gupta of IPCA Private Limited on the topic enhancing a coating performance with high performance pigments. The next one would be a technical presentation on surgery on common technical paint problems, process application on finished paint by Dr. Gururaj Muharir, Raj Specialty Additives Private Limited. Then we have a technical presentation on low-free monomer content polyisocyanates, latest change in the regulation in Europe by Dr. Umberto Tua and Dr. Nicolo Martinelli from Sapici. The last technical presentation on understanding additives technology will be by Mr. Girish Bhagwat of Dow Chemical International Private Limited. Closing remarks will be given by me, and vote of thanks will be given by IPCA General Secretary, Mr. Rohit Duggal. Now, before we start our event, we seek the blessings from Lord Ganesha ji for a blessed event for all.
वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गणपतये नमो नमः, श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः, अष्टविनायक नमो नमः, गणपति बप्पा मोरया, मंगल मूर्ति मोरया। ओम गणपतये नमो नमः, श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः, अष्टविनायक नमो नमः, गणपति बप्पा मोरया।
I'm sure we in the paint coating fraternity have Ganeshji's blessings. Otherwise, had we been in hospitality or travel industries, our state of affairs would have been pretty tough. Dear delegates, after blessings from the Almighty, it is time to salute to our great nation, our pride, our national flag. I request the delegates and dignitaries to stand up for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा। विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मांगे। गाहे तव जय गाथा, जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Our dynamic president, who has been at the helms of overseeing IPCA virtual webinar, needs no introduction. He has been a flag bearer not only for IPCA, but of the paint industry and fraternity for decades. I request the sea and ocean of our talent, Sagar, to say a few words.
Thank you, Jatinji. Dear friends of the fraternity, Pranam, Namaste, and good afternoon. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this virtual IPCA Knowledge and Technology Sharing Seminar. On the behalf of the whole team IPCA, I welcome you for joining us today. This year, we have all witnessed have been full of many surprises. Our ways of working have substantially changed. So our theme of the event is refreshing basics. While the changing world today, it is important to hone new skills to move with those changes. It is probably more important not to forget the base knowledge. That is what lays down the foundation and holds the ground. Just like the foundations of any home or structure, the fundamentals must be strong to be able to sustain and comes on the top of it. In this case, the ability to absorb and make sense of the new knowledge. The skills and expertise that we sometimes dismiss as being common can benefit tremendously from this revitalization. Keeping our skills sharpened and up to date will improve our ability to perform our jobs and increase value to our customers. Stay on top of the developments. This rejuvenates our minds, increase our commitment, and makes us more proactive towards our work. And for the same, we have experts from the leading organizations such as Tipco Engineering, Dow, BYK, Hubeck, Raj Specialty, Sapichi, Saujanya, and from SP Jain Institute of Management to enlighten us. As we navigate through the new normal, standing together for each other as a community is crucial. I inform you all today with a very heavy heart of the sad demise of our beloved IPCA patron, Shri Udayveer Singh Yadav ji, late chairman Varuna Chemicals. His kindness, teachings, and large-heartedness shall always live in our memory. On behalf of the whole fraternity, we pay our homage and wish strength to his family. Though we are all resuming our normal lives as Unlock 4 is happening, we must not forget the current reality and keep practicing the safety and hygiene measures of social distancing, washing hands, wearing masks, taking care of ours and our loved ones, health both physically and mentally. During the same time last July, we had our Ghaziabad region knowledge sharing seminar led by our dearest immediate past president, Shri Ashwini Mehraji. Though it was very heavily raining, it saw participation of more than 500 delegates. Today also, we have registered more than 650 delegates. IPCA has always been showered by the love of all its members in huge numbers, which is deeply heartening. I would like to highlight that our MC for the event is none other than our beloved past president, Shri Jatin Agarwal ji. He will keep us the tempo of the event, fun like always, and keep us through all the sessions. I express my gratitude to the IPCA patrons, Shri Ashok Gain ji, Shri Vinod Karwa ji, Shri Harish Agarwal ji, Anil Khanna ji, Sanjeev ji, Amit ji, Jatin ji, and Ashwini ji. But not at the last, I am grateful to our ever supportive, stellar team IPCA in helping making this virtual KTSS a reality. I would especially like to thank our conveners, Shri Sandeep Gupta ji, our past president, and Shri Suresh Mahadevan ji, Chairman IPCA Maharashtra. The organizing committee, our beloved Shri Rajiv Bhai Parekh ji from the Central Committee, our Vice President Shri Rohan Basin ji, our General Secretary Mr. Rohit Duggal. I would also like to thank all regional chairmen for organizing various webinars in their respective regions and engaging members to impart knowledge amongst them during lockdown, especially Kerala, Mumbai, and Gujarat region. I always like to convey my thank to IPCA Secretary Jagdeep ji, our event partner Sahil Nagpal from Nagpal Events for helping us with the organizing, designing, and branding, and Sonal and Neerav Bhai. So with this, let's kickstart the event. I would request our convener, Shri Sanjeev Gupta ji, to kindly say a few words. Thank you, friends.
Friends, perhaps in the history of IPCA and since its inception, one face has been considered the ambassador of IPCA, a person who is known for his innovative business ventures like Sparklina Polymers and EcoRes Resins. His never die attitude and spirit and his cool head. All the tenets we need during this tough time for the coating fraternity. Sanjeev Gupta, past president, patron IPCA, and a convener for IPCA virtual webinar. Over to you, Sanjeev.
Namaskar. Good afternoon, everybody. Dear Apex and Central Committee members, all regional chairmen, sponsors, speakers, and delegates. We welcome you to our IPCA virtual knowledge and technology sharing seminar. I would say this is the space where true ideas are exchanged and relevant knowledge disseminated. Even though we have been speaking about it, the turn of events this year has led to some novel changes, and this virtual KTSS is one such idea. After all, if not physically, we can surely connect digitally. Our president, Sagar Goelji, has conjured up this idea of having the KTSS at this point of time, just as business is trying to work itself out of the draconian curbs which were imposed by our government in the form of a lockdown. This gives us the much needed impetus to move forward and face challenges. Therefore, the theme Refreshing Basics is very apt, as the context is such that we have to go back to the drawing board and virtually make a new beginning. This time also gives us an opportunity to rethink our strategies, processes, and the whole direction we want our business to take. As things stand today, the situation is still fluid and dynamics are changing on a daily basis. We have to constantly evolve and be vigilant so that we can keep ourselves afloat. I would say that those expecting decisive governmental action or help are bound to be disappointed. We have to help ourselves. The thing we should be asking the government is not more help in the form of fiscal or other incentives, but not to burden us with further taxes or greater and complex compliances and even more hurdles to the business. That being said, I would also say this is the time to innovate. If the state push towards manufacturing becomes a reality, greater opportunities will open up for us. We should now look to produce quality products at competitive prices. And I believe already a lot of our MSME sector is already rising up to the challenge. I believe if the specter of dumping and unrealistic pricing, which we had been facing and which was killing our industry, if something of that sort occurs, that is stopped, then maybe the renewed thought which is happening in the higher echelons of power will provide us a breather. My colleagues, Mahadevan, Jatin Agarwal, Rajiv Bhai, Rohan Basim, have been admirable in their thought and work. This teamwork has been par excellence. And obviously we got the superb backing of a President Sagar Goel. I would say the whole touch and feel of the virtual KTSS that you see will carry the elements that IPCA is known for, namely class and professionalism, and that is combined with practicality. So what you will get here is which you can use probably in your business. We have the best of speakers from some of the top industry companies. Mr. Mahadevan, my convener along with me, will be elaborating more on the choice of the theme, the speakers, and the topics. Let us hope that some of the knowledge disseminated here today can be of some practical use to you. You can also make use of the question and answer session at the end of each presentation to clear some of your doubts, like Jatin has said in the beginning. You can also contact the speakers individually because they'll be giving out the details in the end, and you can reach out to them and get your queries answered. I would also take this opportunity to thank our sponsors who have always been there for IPCA, and I hope that they are satisfied with the kind of platform that we provide them to reach out to the members. So in the end, I would like to say that let not the GDP numbers depress us. It is the optimism and hope which keeps a business alive. Knowledge combined with passion makes for a heady cocktail. Go for it. I again thank all those present for your love and support for IPCA, and I'm sure with the change in wind, you will see newer and better things happening. Thank you and Jai Hind. Over to you, Jatin.
How much I admire the voice of this guy, more than his content. दिल ना उम्मीद तो नहीं, नाकाम ही तो है, लंबी है गम की शाम, पर शाम ही तो है. Beautifully said, Sanjeev. That hope is what is going to take us forward. Mr. Protocol, a man who can be introduced not only as the owner of Metcon Coatings, but of meticulous professionalism. Chairman of IPCA Maharashtra region, he, along with Maharashtra team, especially Mr. Rajiv Parekh, have been the part of IPCA Virtual from conception to reality. I request Mr. S. Mahadevan to say a few words.
Good afternoon, dear members. Namaskar. As the convener of this seminar, along with Sanjeev Gupta ji, I take this opportunity to welcome you all once again to this unique virtual knowledge and technology sharing seminar. I will keep it very short and simple. I am reminded of a saying by a great legend: your thinking creates your world, your performance causes your impact, and your dream and your devotion to learning shapes the depth of your legacy. The theme of today's seminar, Refreshing Basics, has been carefully and suitably coined after a lot of brainstorming and with a view for individuals to think, introspect, look ahead at the opportunities in the horizon and reach out for the same. The MSME, which has been the backbone of our industry, has been at the receiving end post the crisis, the lockdown crisis that we have had. They need to break free from the traditional thought processes, embrace newer technologies, cleaner technologies, and manufacturing processes for their future growth. The 2 days proceedings of this seminar have been suitably designed, provide individuals with technological inputs from the best of brains in the industry, from speakers who are really experts in their field. We sincerely hope that all the members who've been a part of this virtual seminar are able to take home a lot of important requirements for their personal use. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to IPCA Central Committee for their support, IPCA apex body of patrons and past presidents for their continued guidance in all our endeavors. And I'm especially thankful to our president, Mr. Sagar Goyalji, for the confidence and trust reposed in me and giving me the opportunity to be the convener of this virtual seminar. I would also like to express a special thanks to Mr. Jatin Agrawal, Mr. Rajiv Parekh, Mr. Rohan Basin, and our convener, Mr. Sanjeev Gupta, who have been the pillar of support for this event. I would also like to thank my IPCA Maharashtra team for their never-ending support and encouragement and in helping me through in all the events. Last but not the least, all our sponsors and all you members who have always been a part of us and helped in making all our events an event to look forward to. With these words, I would like to wish you all a great 2 days of learning and knowledge assimilation. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you very much. Over to you, Jatinji.
Beautifully said, Madhavanji. Now we commence our technical sessions with the first presentation on the topic of grinding and dispersion, the Tipco way. Our first speaker of the day is Mr. Ritesh Sharma from Tipco Engineering Works, Delhi. Ritesh is the sales head of Tipco Engineering, which was started by his father, Mr. Kailash Chandra, in 1985. His company specializes in making machinery for paints, inks, rubber, adhesive, resins industries. Over the years, Tipco has grown to be a marquee player in the industry with customers all over the world and abroad. They have always supported IPCA in all its endeavors, and we are happy to have them today as our event partner for this virtual KTSS. Over to you, Ritesh. All the best.
Thanks everyone और दोबारा सबको जोड़ने के लिए. Started? Connected? Share screen. Screen. इसमें चेंज उस पे नहीं आ रही है वीडियो. सो कैसे करें? पीपीटी नहीं कनेक्ट हो रही. पीपीटी है, स्क्रीन शेयर है. आपको देखनी चाहिए ना. सर मैं तो आपका हाय मेरी स्क्रीन पीपीटी नॉट मैं तो आपका ही यूज कर रहा हूं. वो पीपीटी स्क्रीन चल रही है. दिख रहा है? PPT is working. Hi everyone.
While there is a technical glitch, and I think that will be sorted out soon, we have seen in the last 6 months, IPCA organized IPCA Tech Web webinars. It started in the month when the lockdown was continuing. It was a tough task to organize these. Ritesh, are you ready?
See, PPT can connect over here and who can share. क्या चीज? Hello. Wait.
Okay, Ritesh, if your PPT is not working, would you like to address the audience without your PPT? Just take them through the various machineries that you are manufacturing so that we can continue with your presentation when it is sorted out. So as I was saying, I was addressing that in the last 6 months, specifically during the lockdown, we had the challenge that when Mr. Sagar Goel took the mantle. Okay, now I think he's ready. Yeah, perfect. Sorry for the glitch, guys. These things happen. Over to you, Ritesh.
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. As you know, I'm Ritesh, sales head Tipco. So today, our KTSS are again, our topic is mixing and milling technology in the Tipco way. So first of all, I just want to tell you about Tipco, what exactly Tipco is. Abhi sir ne thoda bataya bhi. Tipco was established in 1985 by under supervision of Mr. Kailash and Sharma. And right now, Tipco is, a group which is exporting machines, manufacturing. We are mostly concentrating on the paint and ink industry right now. So we are just thinking about milling and mixing. And our basic jobs are current, some premium customers from Tipco is Berger Paints, Sirka Paints, Narlag, UK Paints, Synergies, and so many. And see, as right now, Tipco is also doing a lot of projects. Like currently, we are doing projects for the Saka Times, Bangladesh, Johnson Matthey Technology in United Kingdoms, Quad Omid and company in Afghanistan, Rivas Builders in South America, Pika Global in Dubai, and National Paints factories in Dubai. And there are some projects which we have completed in before the starting of 2020, before this Corona, epoxy satellite in Boston, USA, Spirit Chem in Mauritius, and the number of companies and the projects which is completely designed and made by Tipco. So this is the sample which we have just completed. Just this is basically in project which we have just completed as in Bangladesh. And the name is wrongly written. It is basically digital engraver. Next, we have done Indore BC Petrochem. There are some services which right now Tipco is dealing with for the projects. Like whenever we are designing any project, how we proceed, what are the services which Tipco basically offer to our customers. Like we design complete plant, we support our customer for material handling, liquid pumping system and solution, which are practically our paint and ink industry right now a very important requirement. क्योंकि हम लोग जितना भी solvents and reagents अभी हम लोग अपने system में जितना automation के साथ लेके आ सकते हैं in a simple way without any cost, that is a better way. मैं अभी आगे आपको कुछ photographs में वो दिखाने भी वाला हूँ how it is going to work. Second is modernization of plant. And third is safety audits. We are also doing for the electricals. For any right now 3-4 projects which we have done a complete safety audit for their companies for this, basically for the electricals. We do layouts for your plants, any plant, a new or the old one. If you want to पुराने plant को हमें नए तरीके से लेके जाना है, how we have to manage our raw material, how we have to manage our packaging good, packing material, production and everything. We do complete layouts for, basically for the smaller factories, medium scale and the bigger one also. For सबके लिए हम लोग कर रहे हैं. Even right now we are designing about this year only, after Corona, we have designed already three new companies with the new layouts. Right now, हम लोग जितना भी paint companies में जा रहे हैं, everybody is looking for the ducting, ducting and air conditioning. उसका भी हम लोग कंप्लीट कर रहे हैं, लाइक कंप्लीट एयर सर्कुलेशन इन द कंप्लीट सिस्टम कि हम लोग कैसे अपना एक एटमॉस्फेयर, एक अच्छा हेल्दी एटमॉस्फेयर इनसाइड द प्रोडक्शन प्लांट में हम कैसे करें. दैट आल्सो वी डिजाइन राइट नाउ एंड वी डू कंप्लीट एयर कंडीशनिंग सिस्टम विद डस्ट कलेक्शन एंड फ्यूम सक्शन आल्सो. नेक्स्ट वी आर डूइंग कंप्लीट इलेक्ट्रिकल सिस्टम्स, your complete FLP systems, from your bottom earthing to the complete your PLC panels. We are doing completely in the system. The pipeline system we are doing from the solvent yard to the production plant. Next we are doing structure works. See, सब लोग के लिए एक space constraint है, और अगर space constraint है तो everybody want to have some structures where they can store where they can hang their machines so that they can utilize it very easily. Okay. And complete plant automation. This is also I'm going to brief. These all are the services which Tipco is going to offer right now. And अगर हम लोग आज किसी से भी discuss करते हैं, we have all these services to provide to our customers. And I can assure you that whatever we are designing, it will be the best model and best design internationally. We are very, very sure about that. Now I start with the type of paints. Basically, we all belong to the paint industry. Normally, some are from inks and some are from the resins also. So there are some oil-based paints. which are basically red oxide primers, matte primers on furniture animals, and etc. And water-based paints are acrylic wall putty, is acrylic distempers, starch-based distemper, color cement primers, and etc. And putty and resins. Putty means your NC putties, polyester putties, or your viscous putties, which are made into your sigma mixtures and twin shafts. Next is our acrylic and alkyd resins. We are also doing projects and plans for the acrylic and alkyd resins. So द बेसिक क्वेश्चन जो हमारी इंडस्ट्री में आता है, नॉर्मली हम लोग रेगुलरली सभी इंडस्ट्री में विजिट करते हैं, बहुत सारे न्यू कमर्स भी होते हैं. एवरी डे वी गॉट अ न्यू कॉल्स फॉर द न्यू प्रोजेक्ट्स. इवन द older players also want to upgrade, so they should know which machine is exactly used in which place. Like for the oil-based paints and oil-based machineries are basically like lab mixtures. Lab equipment is very, very important in all the stages. For your like bid mills, lab bid mills, we have lab dispersers. Secondly, it is the main core machinery which is used in paint industries everywhere. It is very common, and there are different sizes which are used. Like from your, I can say that 100 grams to 5 tons. It's a high-speed disperser which is commonly used for the oil-based paints. Next is your horizontal bed mill. Horizontal bed mills and vertical sand mills. They both are, you can say that, are from similar families. They are continuous mills. They are mostly used for the high productions, better grinding. You can very easily get a 7 Hegman. That is near about. See, in paints we normally need a 5 to 10 microns. Okay. And horizontal bed mills and vertical sand mills are very easy and very fast to achieve that thing. Then it's a triter mill. It is basically a batch type mill, which is mostly used for the grinding of primers, your blacks, and mostly the high density balls are used in a triter mill. And really, I always suggest to my customer for the black, they use a triter. Still, it's a very old machine, but still old is gold type. A triter is still, it's working everywhere. Now it's a basket mill. See, everybody heard about basket mills. What exactly basket mills are? I'm going to brief in next slides how basket mill and what are the benefit of basket mills. But it is also oil-based major machineries. Then it's ball mill for the primers and etc. Like Berger Paint is still using all the ball mills for the primer, and they are sure they're saving their cost and they're getting higher productivity from the ball mills. Similar for the lab-based, water-based paint machines, we have lab mixtures. Like in water-based only, we need a disperser and twin shafts. Second, we have a high-speed disperser, like it is a common machine between the oil-based and the water-based. Then we have a twin shaft disperser. Twin shaft disperser are basically, I recommend twin shaft disperser for the higher size of a machines. When you have more than 2 ton or 3 ton of production size, then you must use twin shaft. But before that, it's better to use a high-speed. Ribbon mixture for the powder mixing. Then your plowshare mixture. It is one of the best machine for the wall putty. You can make a wall putty in, you can say that 5 to 30 minutes maximum at more than that. And the mixing efficiency will be 110%. Then we have a twin shaft pug mixture. It's a twin shaft pug. And then ball mill again for the wall putties and cement paints. So this is basically how the paint industry and paint process with us, with our machines. Our first thing is mixing. Everywhere, anything, like we take titanium dioxide, your raisins, your some of raisins, you mix everything. That is your first step. You add your additive, like dispersing agent you have. I don't think a wetting agent आपको डालना पड़ेगा, but mixing के लिए, this is the basic thing. Second, you have a grinding. Third is in grinding, it is basically reducing the particle size. And हम लोग का grinding का एक अलग मिथ है कि हमें ग्राइंडिंग कैसे लेनी चाहिए, ठीक है ना. हम लोग पेंट के अंदर में आगे बिड मिल्स के लिए बेसिकली हॉरिजॉन्टल बिड मिल का ये बहुत बड़ा मिथ है कि हम लोग ग्राइंडिंग कैसे करें. आइदर वी आर गोइंग टू मेक अ स्लरी, वी आर गोइंग टू मेक पेस्ट, वी जस्ट नीड टू ग्राइंड एनीथिंग फॉर विच हम लोग को यहाँ पे पार्टिकल साइज रिडक्शन करना है. और हमें पार्टिकल साइज रिडक्शन करना है मिनरल्स का और हमारे एमलगेट्स जो हमारे पिगमेंट्स को मिक्स करते वक्त हमारे मिक्सिंग के टाइम पे हमारा आ गया, हमें सिर्फ उतने को मिक्स करना है. और उसको हम लोग ग्राइंडिंग के लिए हम लोग डिफरेंट मिल्स डिफरेंट प्रोडक्ट्स के हिसाब से डिसाइड कर सकते हैं. नेक्स्ट इज फिनिशिंग. Finishing, you can say that a top of after the grinding or the post mixing, you can say that what exact the finaling of your product. with you can also say it finishing like हम लोग को जो exact 100 kg हमने paste निकाला, we have to convert it to 200 to 300 kg. We have to add the solvent and the resin. What else in finishing is the shade matching. That what we have, every paint industry people do, you know better how to manage it. Next is our filtration. Filtration is really very important. और हम लोगों का paint industry medium scale में है. I've visited so many factories. The lacking point is filtration. If I say कि हमारी grinding अच्छी नहीं है, हमारी finishing अच्छी नहीं है, but हमारा filtration अच्छा है, तो I think any product, betterment chances will increase by 90%. So in any process, filtration is very important. Next is your packaging and storage. That is after finishing, you just pack the material from the packing machine, then you take other. So here's a production process. In production process, the first is our high-speed dissolver, as I've shown in the photograph. Second is grinding mill. For that, to grind anything like even some people right now also using grinding mills for the water base also, and they're really getting very good. When they need a silky result, something like that they call it, they get from the horizontal mills. And we have a number of horizontal mills right now. Last year we only have THM series and one TWS series, but now we have 4 new series of the mills which we are offering to the market, and it is very cost effective in prices, in quality and services, because there are so many customers. There's so many customers who are already using my THM mill from this last 6 years to 5 years. There's a filtration. There are so many type of different filters, like some have bag filters, some have cone filters. And so after you can install the filtration just before your filling machine, and I think that is the best way to utilize your filtration and your filling. So after this, when we talk about the manual system, how we manage, this one slide shows how we can make it automation. See, our middle segment in middle way, like MSME sectors or a normal production company, even few plants of every bigger place, how they can manage automation with the semi-auto system. We can see that we have to take care about 3-4 things for the automation, and this is the basic flow chart of that. Like for the solvent, dryers and plasticides, we have to mix in the thinning things, and additives and the binder and the pigments and the fillers we have to store in the feeder. Next, we have to go to the weigh tank. Then we shift that weigh tank to the mixing tank. We make a slurry of that. We make a final grinding. We then shift it to the thinning tank. Then again the screening, labeling and packaging and dispatch. This is a common process of every plant. In any paint plant, whether they're making or any oil base like PU, epoxies, anything, the process will be almost similar. There will be no difference. And right now we can automate a simpler way, any solvents, any resins, you can say that binders or the pigments which are used in higher quantities. It will save your labor and a lot of things. So process machineries by, next is our process machineries by Tipco, like dispersion. In the dispersion, we have lab disperser, high-speed disperser, twin-shot dispersers. And again, the homogeneous mixing, homogenizer, particle size reduction, and the grinding, we have lab sand mills, lab bed mills, inline homogenizers, in-tank homogenizer, and attritators. See, in paint industries, the new product is an homogenizers, which very few people are using right now. And I can tell you in future, most of the company will see these machines in their factory, and I'm very sure about that. For your perfect wet grinding system, we have horizontal sand mill and vertical sand mill, the similar and homogeneous and the particle size reduction. So this is basically our, we have 2 lab mixtures, lab bed mills, multi-shaft mixtures. Multi-shaft mixtures are the mixtures where multi-shaft mixtures are the mixtures where one mixture can be used for the grinding, for the mixing, and for the dispersion. In every part you can use that. Okay. See, if I say multi-shaft disperser, everybody know about the blades. See, this is the homogenizer blade. Okay, and this is very small, in smaller size. Even we can make it for the 500 grams right now, because we are working with the CNCs, in-house CNCs in our factory, and we are working with that. We can make any size for that. Even we have in-house laser cutting, in-house VMC, in-house turning. Okay, so this is one small lab homogenizer. It is very good to reduce the particle size, very fine mixing. It makes at the RPM of near about 6,000 to 8,000. Even it can run for the 10,000 RPM in a smaller size, but in a bigger size, maximum size it can go to, I think RPM will be 3,000 RPM. Next is high speed dispersers. Like we have a HS series for the, as you can see there, that is written in every disperser, HS. Now Tipco has a HS series for the different size of the dispersers. Like we have HS 0.5 that can be used for 0 to 200 liters, and it is very famous right now in market to help in shade matching, to take a smaller batches, 720 liter, 200 liter. I don't have a slide, a photo in the slide, but if somebody asks, I can share the photograph of that mixture. Then we have HS1. The size will be of HS1 will be 500 kg to 200 liter to 500 kg. We have now HS2 model. This one, it can be used for 500 kg to 1500 liter. Then we have a 2.1. That's a bigger model. You can run 2 ton of paint together. This is my favorite topic because मैं 5 साल से इस चीज में लगा हूँ. It's an horizontal bed mill basically, and horizontal bed mills. I think 7-8 years I've seen very lesser machines in India. Very less. Everybody have very less machines. But right now I can see every factory. It doesn't mean they don't have it from Tipco. They can have from other companies. But a lot of horizontal mills. And I tell you, it is like a machine which able to understand this machine can utilize in any way. And this is in my 10-year experience in this in Tipco and the complete paint industry, I've seen so many things and I learned so many things from it. THML, it is basically used for grinding of any pigments. When you're adding some minerals in paint, you can make it's very easy to reduce the particle size. Third, the cleaning is very easy, the life is very good, and see very practically the serviceability or the service provided by the Tipco for this machine is really excellent. I mean, the market knows if we are supporting our customer at any stage. From first day when, see, earlier only the bigger players only have the horizontal mills, the middle segment, but now mostly everybody have the horizontal mills. And when we offer the horizontal mill to any of our customer, we take a time of at least 15 days of guiding them and supporting them. Why horizontal mill from the Tipco? Because हम लोग उनको हर एक viscosity we tell them how to run, which viscosity you have to run, which product you can, even in oil base you can take any product. You can make primer, you can make your PUs, epoxies, any color from the black to white. In one machine you can manage, and it's really very easy to run this machine when you have it of this machine. See, the beauty of the machine is whenever you want to take any batch of 30 liter or a 3 ton, the machine will be similar. The time variation will be there according to that you have to select the size of a mill. Right now we have different models for the THM. We have THM1, THM10, THM15, THM25 and THM45. That is a new model which we have introduced. And there's so many new things in the horizontal bed mills with the Tipco. I can claim that whatever the technology is present in all over the world for these similar mills, we have that for anything, for the screen type, for the rotor stator, for your tungsten carbide blades, your ceramic blades, that all things we have. Even PU blades right now we have offered to a lot of pesticide suppliers, especially manufacturers. This is a vertical sand mill basically. We also call that vertical super flow mill. Basically, the difference between the horizontal and vertical is very small. I mean, it's work without a mechanical seal, that's work with a mechanical seal. That is with a higher pressure rates, with a lower pressure rate. It is very good for the primers and the top coats. You can very easily achieve the particle size of 10 microns to 15 microns in 2 buses for any products. It's a common, like I told you, triter mills. They are for the high viscous paste. You can make any paste in this. Like when you're making black, you're making any primers. It is the best machine for that. Excuse me. Basket mill. See, when we talk about the basket mill is a machine. When you go to Europe, you see a lot of basket mill in every factory, in every grinding company. Any paint company, you see, just everywhere you see the basket mill. Somehow in India, might be it is not famous. Even the technology is not so famous earlier. That basket mill can run in every factory. But now Tipco is making 3 models in basket mill. Like one is lab, one is for 500, one is for 1 ton. And the beauty of this machine, you don't have to do the separate work like you have to do in vertical mills, horizontal mills, or a batch type mills. This is a batch type system where you can make a final shade, and it runs with a zirconium oxide. You can easily achieve the particle size below 10 microns. Even for the inks also people are using. We have just given about to confirm from Sakata, Japan, the similar type of basket mill. We have given a 2-month trial to them. Even we also have the report. They are very easily achieve 7 microns in black for the offsettings, and the result was really very perfect. These are the ball mills commonly used for the normal industries, for the some primers, some synthetic putties, NC putties, and basically it's an old method for the grinding, but really there's no better way than the ball mill. If you practically see the results of the ball mills and the result of any other mill, might be ball mill will be always a winner, but it is very, very slow. It's a very good machine. It is for the lifetime. You don't face any problem. I mean, this machine can run for a long time. It's a zero maintenance machine. You can say that. Tipco twin shaft disposers are very famous, and like you're always like in right now might be we have not shared the photograph of that butterfly twin shaft or the central shaft aligned twin shaft. See, right now where you can use the twin shaft disperser in oil base industry. In oil base industry, you can make a polyester putty in twin shaft in butterfly blades, and the result was very good. And you can have a vacuum also. So might be you don't need to have a sigma mixture, and you can make a multiple products in one twin shaft. Secondly, you can make a synthetic putty in the similar disperser in twin shaft. Even the NC putties can be made in twin shafts. And secondly, these twin shafts with scraper blades are used for making your all water-based products. Even distemper can be making this, but for that you need a higher capacity motor. So it's a very right now it's a common machine, but for the oil-based smaller sizes are very good. I mean, 500 liter and 1 ton is perfect. 200 liter is also very perfect. But when you want to go with bigger size, like whenever you're making water base, our always recommendation for the water base, you should go with 30 to 40 HP motor for 1 ton. It's better when you are selecting twin shaft, you have to take at least 2 ton or 3 ton of batch. Basically, then only it is useful. I've seen in a lot of industries in Indore and MP in Maharashtra, even in Delhi, in Haryana, a lot of places that people are making 500 kg of batches of water base in twin shaft. There is no use. If you use single shaft.
Ritesh, I'm sorry, but just hurry it up if you don't mind.
Okay. It's about to complete. So next we have a high shift picture. It is for the wall putties. It is a very good machine to make a wall putties. Next we have a ribbon blender. Like right now, Tipco is everywhere. Tipco is saying about automation. What is the benefit of automation? First thing, why automation is required? Automation is required for the safety. हम लोग अगर safest plant बनाएंगे, हम लोग whenever we are sure whatever we are doing, we don't have a chance. See, any incidents can be happen anywhere. Nothing is safe, but when we design, we are sure every pole, every point is safe. Second, consistency, spelling, I think there's spelling mistake in that, and stability in products. Mean whatever today you are making, tomorrow you're making, that will be similar. Cost saving, it saves the cost. Like you know which product you have to make, which motor you have to run. It automatically decide. Your time saving will be very, it's very time saving. Then increase in production. It's when you go with automation, the production will increase. Like, you can decide before that. Might be next phase is coming. It reduces the wastages. This is a basic automation system which see, we don't always call automation is completely automation. Like in waterways, you can use the screws and the pumps for the feeding of your pug mills, your twin shafts, so that your process can be faster. This is for the your oil-based system for the automation. This is generally we are also doing for the one sets also. Sorry. A lot of company right now buying the premix grinding mill and the post-mix tanks. The solvent, automatically solvent coming to the premix tank, then the process will start, the grinding pump will start. And it's a completely automation system for grinding of any product. Then it's shift to the post-mix tank, where it is finalized, then it's go to the filtration, then it's go to packaging. It's a regular PNID of our system, which we are offering in the market. And any of the paint industry in the middle segment can be installed this. And I can prove that how much it saves in a year. You will get a lot of saving from this type of system. In the automation system, how do you add the recipe? It's very easy. It's like operating or calling anyone. Like you have to, when you are making any product, like you are making blue line, you have whatever the varnish, it's a reason. How much you have to add, you can add it. Solvents you can add, even your powders and everything. Every detail is written in recipe only. This is for the whenever we're making any varnishes, when we're making any your resin dilution or resin system, also it is totally similar in that. Even the phallizing, the PNID will be totally similar. In this, we can see that your complete level of material and movement, even the movement of material, you can see. Then again, the level transmitter, it's a level switch. It is for the safety of the mill. Never any tank can be filled. Third, the amperes of the main, every drastic change in the amperes can be noted in the PLC. So in future, you can know what there's any result change or anything can be noted. Your final plant basic flow, if for the automation or for any system, it will be totally similar. Your tanks, then it's pumped from the main grinding area, then it's filling, then it's to solvent area, then dispersion, then it's viscosity check, then labeling, and then finalizing. This is a basic safety points. Last time also I described the using of static neutralizer in every factory, proper earthing of all the machine. It is very important. And dear friends, whoever so in the paint industry, you should spend more to the electricity. हम लोग अभी नहीं करते हैं, बहुत सारी इंडस्ट्री नहीं करती, बहुत सारे लोग बहुत अच्छा मैनेज करते हैं, but these are the basic things. कि हमें static neutralizers हर गेट पे होना चाहिए जहाँ पे हमें solvent use कर रहे हैं. Earthing points, earthing plates, हर मशीन पे होना चाहिए. Earthing clamps, it is very important for the dispersers. Static सबसे ज़्यादा जनरेट होता है वहाँ पे, क्योंकि हम लोग प्लास्टिक के टैंक से भी मटेरियल उसमें pour कर देते हैं. So it's very important. And when you say flame-proof electrical instruments, see, just making the motor system will not be a completely flame-proof. Every wire, armored wire, your double compression glands, every button will be flame-proof. Then only the system will be flame-proof. And make sure when you are buying flame-proof, mean everything flame-proof. Last time I want to share the incidents of one company got a fire in paint industry. See, every time we thought that there will be some mistakes from our end, from our labor end, or for our management, managing anything. But there's one more important thing in our company. Might be हम लोग ये मेरा last point है. हम उसे अगर सही से भी लेके चलेंगे, raw material and finished good management. Basically raw material. हम लोगों ने कौन सा raw material कहाँ रखना है? उससे हमारी वेस्टेज बचने वाली है, कॉस्ट सेव होने वाली है. एंड सेकेंडली हम लोग बहुत बड़े नए फायर डेंजर से दूर होने वाले हैं. अगर हम लोग आज डिसाइड कर लें कौन से किस लेवल पे कोई रॉ मटेरियल डेंजरस है, उसको कहाँ स्टोर करना है. इवन वी आल्सो सपोर्ट देम इफ समबडी वांट्स, उसे कहाँ स्टोर करना है और कैसे स्टोर करना है. उन दोनों के अंदर थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस कर दें, माइट बी वी विल सेव फॉर आवर लॉन्ग लाइफ. And finish good management according to the raw material, that will also support our company to be on a safer side. Clear exit path, it is very important. We know everybody is busy, we have to take care about the production, everything, but still exit path and the gangways should be clear. See, kabhi na kabhi hame use karna hai. और हम लोग की मूवमेंट अगर अच्छी होगी तो शायद फैक्ट्री और भी इजी हो जाएगा उसे मेंटेन करना. Thanks for giving me for everyone a time. Jatin ji, if anybody have any question or anything, ask me. Yeah.
Yeah, so nice of you, Ritesh, to give your presentation. And I think, as always, you are our favorite presenter. Apart from the technical glitch, with these things happen. So now, for our Q&A sessions, as I requested before, we had requested all the delegates and participants to go into the Q&A section and post their questions. And our Vice President, Mr. Rohan Dasim, shall be picking up selected questions, moderating, all the questions which are being pushed to him through various media, and then we'll be posting a question to the panelists. I request Mr. Rohan Dasim to now take the Q&A process forward with Mr. Ritesh Sharma of Tipco Engineering.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Excellent and very enriching presentation, Ritesh ji. And as they say, quote unquote, the man and the machine. So I think Mr. Ritesh Sharma is the man, and his engineering mind is the reason behind all the machines. He is the engineer and engineer for the industry. Ritesh ji, due to paucity of time, we'll make it very quick. So two quick questions for you. First one being, what is the importance of temperature control during dispersion in a dyno mill, and what are the deterrents or the final impact it might have on the stability of the end product?
So see, I can answer. Basically, for the grinding mills, whenever we are using nano mills, your temperature plays a even the temperature and the pressure, because in all the mills, the nano mill or a horizontal mills are the mill in which we have in price very precisely you can control the temperature and pressure. Okay, and like when we are making any water-based product and the temperature will increase, you will find a lot of differentiating dispersion. So temperature plays a very important role in grinding. So whenever we are grinding any oil-based product, the maximum temperature will be 55 degree, 55 to 60 we can manage. But in water-based, 35 to 40 degree is required, and if you're going above that, you will face a problem. Like some people are making pigment paste, water-based pigment paste, like Untitled is making. So in that products, temperature plays a very important role. You will not be able to get a proper dispersion, might be settling problem will come. So for that, for the controlling of temperature, how you are going to control a temperature in a grinding mill? You can do that by the RPM of a mill, by right selection of a beads. It's very important. And you can always have a check, what is the incoming your temperature of a water or from the chiller, and what will be the outgoing of the temperature of the water. From that, and that what I'm talking about, the efficient mills, the mills which are giving the complete proper, connectivity with the water to if they're transferring the cooling to the machine. I'm just talking about that. Those machine might be it is important and can be controlled by the RPM and the beats. And it is very important. Next question.
There is one question from Mr. K. Satia. He wants to know what is the mesh size recommended for the filtration of ink.
Sorry?
The mesh size recommended for filtration of ink.
The mesh size for the filtration of a beads will be 0.5 mm. 0.5 means you can say that 500 microns. That is a minimum size. And secondly, it also depends which mill you are using right now and which beads you are using, right? If somebody is using 1.8 to 1.6, mostly it is used for the paints, then you need a beads, screen size of 0.6 to 0.7. That is, I think, good, because for that, your mill will be safer for the longer time. And for everyone, anybody is using horizontal mill, every after 200 hours and 300 hours, they have to clean up their machine, screen the beads and pour it again and remove the all unwanted break beads out of the mill. And it is very important. It will save the life and increase the life of a mill. Even your product will also, if every after 200 hours, if you top up the beads, you will get a continuous similar results. There will be no, you can say that difference in the results. It's continuous stability will be there.
So one last question from Mr. Niranjan, and we will end this session here. For cement-based putty and powder putty, can you suggest the suitable machines?
For the polyester putties,
No, powder putties.
so
Cement-based. I think probably should be
for the-
water.
see, if I tell you, for the powder putties, there is a one good myth in the market that ball mills are one of the best mill that you will not face a problem like कोई granules नहीं आएगा, कोई इसका white cement का granule नहीं आएगा. See, अगर आप ball mill use करते हैं, no doubt it is a very good machine. Okay, उसमें granule नहीं आते हैं, but उसमें balls का breakup टूट के आ जाता है, then it's come a problem. But the better machine is high shear plow mixture. It is a one of the best. See, different people call it from a different name, like horizontal mixture, horizontal high shear plow mixture. There are different name of mills. But high shear plow mixture with the RPM of above 70 is an excellent machine for the wall putty, and you can able to make a product maximally from 5 minutes to 30 minutes. 30 minutes is the maximum limit for any machine, and 5 minutes is a normal limit, 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. One last quick question, Riteshji, from Mr. Siddesh. What is the importance of cowless blade?
Oh, see, when we talk about the HS, disperser is a cowler, you can say that. It is a main like soul of a disperser. If the cowler is not a good, how can you going to, the disperser, how can disperser can give the better results? So cowler design is very, very important. If you want a theory on the cowlers, we also have a Tipco theory for the cowls. I can share you with that. And really, it plays a 99, if you can say that 100%, it is correlated to your dispersion, mixing. It is a main thing in a disperser.
Thank you so much, Riteshji, for the very enriching session. And over to Jatinji again for the next session.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, just a second. Ritesh, in our virtual avatar, we would like to thank you and give you a token of appreciation and a memento from IPCA. You have been our prime sponsor. Wish we could, do it on stage in limelight, but I think this is the virtual way of doing it.
I got it.
Thanks a lot. Okay, thanks a lot, Pretty.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The next speaker for the day adds life to color, and not only colors to our lives. Perhaps the largest colorants manufacturers in the world, Saujanya. Technical presentation on the topic, exciting color synergies. Speaker, Mr. Amol Mulajkar, Deputy General Manager, Business Development and Marketing, Saujanya Color Private Limited, Mumbai, India. Welcome, Mr. Mulajkar. Amol is a qualified technologist with masters in marketing management. He has been associated with paint industry since last 20 years and worked with companies like Asian Paints and BSF in the R&D centers prior to joining Saujanya Color. Pigment dispersion and application of pigments into paints and coatings is his core area of expertise. Amol travels extensively internationally for customer meetings and new business development activities. Under his leadership, Saujanya has achieved many milestones, like Most Innovative Partner 2019 award from Tata Group Companies, Green Pro Certification Award from Indian Green Build Council. He's playing an instrumental role in effective implementation of company's policy of offering planet-friendly and sustainable color solutions to various end applications like paints and coatings, wood coatings, floor coatings, printing, inks, personal care cosmetics, polymer composites, PVC, construction chemicals, etc. Over to you, Mr. Mulajkar.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yes. So just it's taking a while to share the screen.
So, sir, working from home or from your beautiful office?
Both the things are beautiful for me.
Okay, great.
I'm in office.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
I hope the screen is visible now.
Yes, sir, it is. Thank you.
Perfect. So, thank you, Jaishanji, for Jatinji for this nice introduction. The topic of today's is exciting color synergies, and next 20-25 minutes, I will be taking you all through this wonderful world of colors. Whenever we think paint or coating, we think first about the color. Color is an essential part of our life. Perhaps that is the most exciting thing, that we would like everything around us colorful. Whenever we go to shop anything, be it our apparel or be it a paint, be it even the car as expensive as that, the first exciting thing about anything is color. And thank you, IPCA, for creating such a wonderful platform that we could share all our thoughts during this. And the nice concept is revisiting basics. It is very important that time to time we should revisit the basics with the new perspectives. And perhaps this is a very good time that we are. Well, there are three words in the topic: is exciting, color, synergies. Color itself is very exciting, and uh, there is a part that the color, and then third part is very important, is the synergies, and that's what I will be talking about. Then why synergy, and with whom the synergy is required? What is the importance of that synergy? Why only color is not essential? Why that the word synergy is there as a prefix? As a suffix to this color, world color. Briefly, I will be describing about the color. Whatever the light falling on the earth from the sun, it is, I mean, there are a lot many wavelengths are coming from the sun to earth. There are some higher wavelengths, some medium wavelengths, some very shorter wavelengths. And what we see as a sunlight is not everything what is coming to the earth. We see only the narrow part, narrow band of the spectral color spectrum. And this narrow band of the certain wavelength, let's say from 350 to 700 nanometers, that is what is visible to us because of our nature, uh, the eye construction of us. We can see only that narrow part, and that we call as a visible color spectrum. When the color or the light from the sun falls on certain objects, here on the screen, for example, it's falling on the apple. And the apple, because of its structure, the three things happen. One is that the whole light transmits to the object, then the object looks transparent to us. It reflects everything out, then there it's called as a perfectly white body. It reflects everything. It absorbs certain thing, and then selectively it reflects certain wavelength. And that is how then we see that certain wavelength that goes into our eyes, and our brain senses that certain wavelength, and we call whatever is the resultant as a color. And then for that wavelength, for an your example, we are saying that the apple is red, and then brain says, I see red. Red is the name given to that wavelength, that sensation what our brain gets from the eyes. Similarly, there are some other examples on the right side of the screen. If the object reflects everything, then the object looks white to us. In second example, it is reflecting red wavelength, and it is looking red to us. In third, it is reflecting one wavelength, which we say that it is a green in color. This is how we see color. Now this color, because it is directly linked to our brain, we senses it through our eyes and goes to the brain, and it relates to our psychology also. Our mind is directly emotionally connect with the colors. Since our birth, infant age, we are get attracted towards the color. The color affects our psychology. It affects our mood. The colors have their own identity. Whenever we see the red signal, it wants us to stop. Whenever there is a green, it means that we are safe to go. The blue is a color of ocean and sky. It gives us depth and height, sincerity. Every color has its own personality, and that is how that we get attracted towards colors, and we have very emotional bond with the color. They do affect our psychology. That is the reason perhaps our all the festivals, may it be Diwali or Holi, the color plays a very important role of our celebrations. And that is the reason we would like everything around us very colorful. We don't like the black and white world. The colorful world is very exciting to us. Now, when it comes to the paint and coatings, we know that the pigments are available in the market. They are natural. Some pigments are synthetic pigments. They are organic, inorganic. Some are very coarse pigments. Some are very fine particle size, high surface area pigments. All of these pigments can be used directly in the paint and coatings. My friends, the problem is starting here. The process is becoming more complex because we have to add these powders to our liquid systems of the resin and solvents, what is the composition of paint. And the moment we add the solid particles, it becomes very essential to keep these solid particles suspended in the paint system for longer time. The complexity of paint manufacturing starts here. Second complexity is that how to extract all the color from the pigment particles. Is that so easy? Can I just simply add pigment in the liquid system, I stir it and then start using it? No, we cannot, because of the high coarseness, the clusters, we get very uniform color all over the place. And I think more than 50% of the paint defects, root cause is that poor pigment dispersion. It is so important. It is the longest process in the paint manufacturing. It is the highest energy consuming process in the paint manufacturing. It has to be accurate. Otherwise, the paint is not going to perform as it is intended to. Let us look very shortly about the pigment dispersion. The agglomerate, the pigment when it comes naturally available to us, all the particles, they are in the cluster. They are very stable here. We have to forcefully make them separate. And whenever we say we are forcefully separating them, theoretically or even practically possible to go to the primary particle size, but as much as possible we have to separate the particles. This process is called as pigment dispersion. There are 3 steps for the pigment dispersion which is recommended. Many times it happens that when you add pigment particles in a liquid, it doesn't mixes. It doesn't uniformly mixes with it already. I mean, either float or it directly settles down. So we have to mix the pigment particles well with the media. And this process is called as wetting agent. This typically happens because of the surface tension differential. Some surface tension of the system, and then we add some mechanical force to separate out the particles. This process is called as milling, and we all just now heard about the milling process. And after this milling, then there comes a third stage as stabilization. As I said earlier that forcefully we are separating the particles. It is very essential to keep the separation. The particles by nature of their natural tendency, they again try to come back together, and this process coming back is called flocculation. So more the energy we are putting to separate them out, the more the energy we also have to put them to keep them separate. This is not a very easy job. It requires a high study of the chemistry and highly expertise developed over these years. We have been able to achieve this kind of expertise, but this is a fairly complex process where art and science both are extremely important to maintain this separation of these particles and make the pigment stable, dispersion stable. If you look at the market condition, how the paint is getting sold in the market, so there are now again 2 very important components. One is that base paint. The paint companies are making only white and clear base and at the time of selling of the paint, the tinting paint is being sold. Here comes the word importance of the synergy. When I say that why synergy, because for some reason the paint uh, manufacturing, the paint formulations is getting developed or changing with the changing time and needs of the time. At the same time, the colorant has also need to change to keep the alignment with the paint development, so that the end product will be also equally good. Today in Indian market, more than 80,000 tinting machines are already installed. It is very sophisticated market when I compare it to rest of the world. Very big market for point of sale tinting system, and approximately 3,500 metric ton of colorant is being manufactured every month. It is very huge number. And for that reason, when I say that we make the colorant has to be accurate and consistent every time, so that the final paint is matches right first time in front of the customer. But with today's perspective, this accuracy and consistency is not enough. It is the basic and fundamental need of the colorant manufacturing, but it is not the only thing which is required. There is something else is required, and that else is the synergy with the base paint systems. Now let us look at that. What is happening in the paint systems in last several years? The paint has gone a tremendous change in last 10 years. What is that change? The today's paint is much different in terms of the raw material basis. If you look back last decade, there are many example is that there are several TiO2 replacement ingredients. There are several new types of the latex emulsions have came up. They give the performance. There are several environmental profiles also have changed up. Right now, in India, the regulation is that the lead content should not be more than 90 ppm is the new regulation, and it is mandatory print on the containers that the lead content is not more than 90 ppm. Then how come the colorant industry be also with the old and conventional way that we are adding lead to the system? No, we have to update ourselves. Second thing is the performance properties of the paint has gone up, and recently many companies we have seen that they are giving guarantees of 10 years or 15 years to the client that the color won't fade, and we see the performance and color won't fade. Ultimately, it comes on the colorant part that it should not fade. And all this is happening at the best economics. We cannot have, afford to increase the colorant, the base paint price. It has to be affordable to the market. So, lot many things are happening. VOC is one of the classic examples. There are zero VOC or low VOC paints available with the regulations, and colorant also industry has to go all these changes. Otherwise, it won't be a very good combination of the base paint and colorant if we have to offer these changes. And that is the reason I'm again saying that the synergy is very important. We are the followers of paint industry. Wherever the paint technology is moving, we are going ahead or aligning ourselves technologically update with the latest trends on the global front. What is happening? We are updated with those changes. Who are the drivers of these changes? The synthesis chemists, for example, the emulsion manufacturers, they are coming up with the newer technologies for maybe for the better UV durability, better performance of these products, better whiteness, sometimes better opacity many times. Colorant has to be compatible with those changes. Paint formulators itself, they are also making the formula because of the various raw material availability, and they are incorporating newer raw materials into the paint formulations. There are environmental regulations as we discussed just now, and also the end users. There are the pull from the market as well. For example, I will tell you some specialty paints like the anti-damp paint or even the low odor paint, anti-asthmatic paint, hygienic paints. All the demands are coming from the market that they need certain kind of paints, and the colorant has to be in line with those changes. Now, what are the technical challenges to adopt these changes? I mean, paint is one part of this system, total POS system that is going under change. Then what are the challenges for the colorant industry also to cope up with those challenges? Let us look at that. First is the VOC level reduction. When the paint is VOC free, then how can the colorant can add VOCs to the paint system? And because ultimately through machine, the colorant is 10-15% going in the paint system, and we cannot add VOCs through colorant to the paint. There are many challenges to the paint also when they make the VOC free colorants. Basically, it's coming VOC is coming through the emulsion and also the humectant and coalescent solvents. So also for the colorants, traditional colorants are glycol-based colorants, and then glycol contributes to the VOC levels. Once we remove the glycol, it's then the problem of that colorant may get dry very soon. That is one of the biggest challenge what the colorant industry has faced while formulating these colorants, VOC-free colorants. The colorants need to be wait for longer time is very essential because the colorants are offered through tinting systems and the nozzle of the machine should not get very dry very quickly. That is the essential and fundamental of this colorant performance. Also, whenever we are taking out glycols from the colorant manufacturing, the rheology profile and dispensability is also it goes on top. And because of certain the viscosity goes up or this pigment particle settles down, the reduction in shelf life is also a major defect which can occur in the colorant. Fortunately, we have come across all these problems, but definitely these are genuine and practical problems. APO is one of these things that we have now. I think in Indian industry, most of the paints are APO free, and so also our colorants are APO free. APO is coming from the surfactant part, and it gives toxicity and it bioaccumulates. It's very harmful to the aquatic life. And the typical example is nonyl phenol ethoxylates coming from the surfactants give this part. There are APO-free emulsions are available now, but the surfactant part, the aromatic structure of APO helps getting pigment dispersion better and over the aliphatic structures. But now with the recent advances in the surfactant chemistry also, we have been able to come across these defects and all of our colorants are APO-free now. Another important component is the preservatives. There are conventional paint formulations have enough alcoholic solvents to prevent the microbial growth, but because now low VOC regulations, this solvent part has gone down, and also the toxicity of these preservatives is now coming onto the radar of many environmentalists. In many countries, it is mandatory to print and declare on the label that it contains certain active content, then it is mandatory to print, or it is also mandatory to print that it may produce allergic reactions. And this is something very bad for the brand to print such kind of instructions when we claim that paint is very safe to the environment and to our human health. It directly impacts the brand identity. And there are many aspects that nobody would like to have these kind of labels on their on the labels. So we also have evaluated many of these in-can and dry film preservatives, and there are some work is still going on, and still there is a scope for improvement for this to make the preservatives less hazardous. There are other challenges while we are making these changes to the colorant, that the wide compatibility, that aspect we should not leave. It should have a longer canister stability. The freeze thaw stability, because India itself, if you consider our domestic market, very diverse climatic seasonal changes, we can see that, and the temperature goes from 5 degrees to maximum 45-48 degrees centigrade. There the colorant should not have no sedimentation, no synergies. That these are few of the challenges. And we are committed to deliver a precise color batch after batch, year after year. That is, I think, one of our USPs and key strengths, what we have achieved over this last 25 years. And today we make 6 million of liters per year, and all of these are coming through this very good and high quality dispersion house. Thanks to the technology, that there is a solution to every challenge. We spoke about the architecture. Let us speak something about the metal coating. We have seen that earlier the two basic aspects of the paint and coating system is that one is color and second is performance, aesthetic and performance. It has been, we used to say that for architectural paint, the aesthetic is more important. But now the performance is also becoming equally important in architectural paints. Even for the industrial coatings, we used to say that the performance is more important than the aesthetics, but now that aesthetic part is also equally important. So both the cases, the aesthetic is becoming very important. And we have seen that in case of industrial coating, the shade range has gone up tremendously since last many years. When we say that industrial coating, there are two main components. One is the water-based system, another is solvent-based system. Water-based is a recent development happening. Still, it is getting developed for industrial coating. But we, as a colorant manufacturer, we cannot leave ourselves behind. Now we have very beautiful solutions for even water-based industrial and wood coating systems. And this wood coating system, particularly, they have this application for the school furniture, toys, particularly kindergarten school furniture. And because they are coming directly in contact with children, they have to be very safe and hygienic. So our colorants are EN75 Chapter 3 certified colorants. They are very safe to be coming in contact, indirect contact with the skin. They are heavy metal free. They are very bright colors are available and excellent UV durability we guarantee. So this is what is happening on the solvent-borne metal and wood coatings is very vast area in India, and since it has a very big history, the recent trend coming up is the kitchen cabinet, polyurethane kitchen cabinets. Also, it is equally important. General industrial coatings and automotive refinish coatings are equally important. You all are aware about that. We have very beautiful color solution, universal industrial
I think there is some technical. The bandwidth of Mr. Amol is limited. We'll wait for a minute or so for him to resume his presentation. In fact, during his presentation, which was a beautifully, very colorful presentation. Okay, I think he's back.
Was there any disturbance? I did not realize it.
Your audio is not there, Amolji.
Since when? Hello?
For around 5 minutes, you must have missed you for 5 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay, I did not realize that. I don't know which slide I was that time.
So you started colorants for your metal and wood coatings. That is the slide you were at.
Okay, perfectly. So, if you don't mind that quickly, I can cover these points.
Yeah, sure, please go ahead.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. Sorry, audience, for this disturbance. So we have seen that coating or something. This is the recent trend coming to India is waterborne industrial coating, and we are not way ahead of the time.
Okay, I think there is some glitch which has to be solved at or corrected at his end. So I think, do we have any questions for Mr. Mulajkar that we can ask him, and then probably because his bandwidth is low and he's unable to share the screen.
So there are a few questions.
Okay.
If I may please ask. Yeah, good afternoon, Amol sir.
Good afternoon.
One question for
I
you.
think his presentation is on. Amolji, do we have? Should we go ahead with the Q&A, or you are at the end of your presentation?
I think there are some few slides. Let me cover if you are able
Okay,
to hear me.
please.
Yeah,
Sure.
so I will directly go to the next slide. That we spoke about the colors, but we have very beautiful solutions for black and white, and we have one colorant, super white colorant, which is even super whiter than white, which is called a super white, and there is a high demand for this color for wood coating application. If anyone interested, please contact me. I can even provide the quantification of the whiteness also, how much white we are and how it is compared to the normal white. Another is that super jet black. So these are two extremes. I mean, in between there are colors, but these are two extremes of these colors. And we have even the very rich bluish, very high jetness black is available now for use into automotive refinish and industrial coating. These are the two very important aspects that we have recently developed. Solvent bond, there is a component, the solvent. The solvent application, and these colorants are solvent free solutions. Well, friends, we have seen everything.
Okay, I think there is some inherent problem which needs to be taken care of. So we'll continue with the proceedings for the day, and when Mr. Mulajkar is back, then we would ask him the questions that Mr. Bhasin has in store for him. Okay, friends, at the bottom of the screen, you have an icon of Q&A. So we request you to post your questions there, and our Vice President, Mr. Rohan Bhasin, shall moderate questions and ask selected questions to the panelists. Okay, Mr. Mulajkar is back.
Yep. Sorry for this. I don't know what is happening.
Absolutely okay, sir. Absolutely okay. Should we go ahead with the Q&A, sir, or there are some PPTs which you have to show?
I don't know now where I missed and what I have shown. But better to go for Q&A.
Okay, Mr. Bhasin, you can kindly take the Q&A forward.
Yeah, noted, sir. Also, the first question for you is that Saujanya does well in dispersions for wood coatings. Any new regulations like FTA, etc., that you are working upon?
Well, for the wood coating, I already mentioned that we have EN 71 Chapter 3 certified colorants are available with us, and they are very well to go on even on the toys also. So they met the regulation of toys and then indirectly scheme contact.
Okay, okay, sir. Sir, another question is that are there any point of sale solvent-based tinting machines, pigment preparations that Saujanya is marketing for specifically for the MSME? So you could get my question?
No, I missed the second part, last part of it.
I'll just repeat it again. Are there any point of sale solvent-based tinting machines, pigment preparations that Saujanya is marketing for MSME?
Yes, of course, yes. And I didn't get that why only for MSME. It is for all the companies, and in fact, it helps MSME also to get their orders very quickly. The service goes on very. I think the serviceability is. We have industrial colorants for the point of sale tinting systems. Already there are thousands of coatings.
Okay, sir. So one more question from the Q&A is that for the...
So answer is yes, we have.
Yeah, okay, understood, sir. One more question from the Q&A is that for the epoxy and PU paint, do we have to use two different colorants, or there is a single colorant which can be used in both systems parallelly?
Well, if the system is solvent based, then we have a single solution. Can we go into both the systems? If the question is for the solvent free,
I think as our title of the theme of our webinar is KTSS, so knowledge and technology sharing seminar. So I think the knowledge is very much being disseminated, but technology somewhere is not in our hands. So which we are forced to end the presentation, a beautiful presentation from Saujanya, and of course, as our token of appreciation and respect, we would like to give a memento to Mr. Mulajkar. Thanks a lot, Mr. Mulajkar. It was a beautiful presentation. Wish we can hear you again in person on stage and listen to your beautiful presentation once again. Going ahead, our next speaker is from a company that is a leading global supplier of specialty chemicals, BYK India Private Limited. Speaker from the company, Mr. Abhijit Avalaskar, technical presentation on topic Enhanced Coating Performance with BYK Rheology Solutions. Mr. Avalaskar graduated in chemistry and further completed his post-graduation in paint technology from a reputed institute. After having worked for development of wood coatings for Asian Paints and Pidilite for more than a decade, later joined BYK India in 2014 and headed the architectural coating end use for Indian subcontinent region. Over to you, Mr. Avalaskar. All the best.
Thank you, Hiten. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible. Jatinji, you can just confirm.
Yes, sir. It's perfect. Please go ahead.
Fantastic. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, IPCA fraternity, for giving us an opportunity to present the basics or refreshing basics. Before going into my presentation, I would like to thank Mr. Amol for covering his topic, because in his presentation he talked about a very important aspect of coating technology or colorants, that is pigment dispersion. And when we talk about pigment dispersion, all of you know that BYK wetting and dispersing additives are the most trusted allies. In coating, along with pigment, there are a lot of other things, binders, solvents, and when we talk about paint as a whole, rheology also becomes very important. Before going into the main subject, BYK, as you all of you know, that is a leading additive manufacturer since last 147 years, deals with different markets. In paint industry, we deal about architectural coatings, construction chemicals, OEM coatings, GI coatings, coil coatings, can coatings, floor coatings. So all types of coatings you can see we cover in paint industry. Not just in paint, but we also deal in plastic industries for PVC plastisols, PVC compounds, thermoplastics, thermosets, fiber sizing, and so on. We also deal into additives for oil and gas industry. Moving ahead, we also deal with industrial applications like printing inks, inkjet inks, adhesives and sealants, household, industrial and cleaners, paper coatings, lubricants, mold releases. So the list is big, and it is, I mean, there are hardly any fields where we don't cater. And these fields or these markets we cater through our basket of product groups, leading with wetting and dispersing additives, surface additives, rheology additives, defoamers and air release additives, wax additives, adhesion promoters and coupling agents, but also viscosity reducers and processing additives for special applications. Now coming to our main topic, rheology. Since our college days, we have been listening to this term, we have learned this term of viscosity. It is called as shear stress and shear rate in mathematics. In simple terminology, it is nothing but resistance against flow or resistance against deformation. So you are applying a force, and because of that, there is some displacement. So viscosity is nothing but resistance against deformation or displacement or resistance against flow. In next about 1 minute, I will just run 3 different videos of 3 different liquids. Starting with the first one. So here you can see a lot of shear is applied. Now I will run the second video. Here we have taken a simple solvent mixture, and then in that solvent mixture we are adding additive under stirring, ensuring proper mixing, homogeneous mixing for about say 5-10 minutes. And then we wait for some time for additive to do its work. After 15 minutes, what do we see? Let's see. So the simple solvent mixture, which was very fluid, has really solidified. So just to remind you, there was nothing else, just the solvent mixture. So what will happen next? So if you try to give some shear to the same solidified material, then again material becomes flowable. Now we will see the third video. So you have taken say choline like material or say glass cleaner based on say rheology additive based on polysaccharide. Okay, so purpose is that material should stick on the wall, but here it is not, because the anti-sagging properties are not good. So material is really running down, it is not able to really do the work on the substrate. However, the same formulation, if you try to modify it with say laponite, then what happens? Material is able to stick on the wall, and here you can also see there is no running down of the material. So all are liquids, but they have different properties. So in first example, we saw there was the Newtonian viscosity. Newtonian viscosity is nothing but irrespective of shear rate, your viscosity is remaining constant. So even if you hammer down the liquid, viscosity will not change. There are some other liquids which have viscosity initially very high, but on shear, the viscosity drops down significantly. This is called as pseudoplastic flow or shear thinning effect. We also see in nature or in our day-to-day sometimes that viscosity rises with shear rate, and that is called as dilatancy or shear thickening effect, and this is a strict no for our coating formulators. So just imagine that you are taking a liquid and you on shop floor you apply the shear and viscosity is rising, so that will be a real problem for production. And then we also have third type of flow that is called as thixotropic flow. So initially viscosity is high, on shear viscosity is dropping down. Again, it will go back to its original place, but the difference is it will take some time to reach to its original place. So this is called as time dependent viscosity or thixotropic flow. So there will be some time gap in between, which is the ideal condition for any coating manufacturer, so that initially your viscosity is high and then it will drop down so that you are able to apply the paint properly, and again it is going back to its original place during the storage conditions. Now we will spend maybe a minute on this very important slide, viscosity profile. So when we talk about low shear, essentially we are talking about the shear which is experienced during the storage conditions or when the coating is drying or trying to level out. So this is the shear, we call it as low shear. Then when we talk about medium shear and high shear, then we are talking about the shear experience during the transportation. So just to give you an indication, the shear experience during transportation, that is a kind of medium shear, and the shear which we experience during the production process, that is the high shear. So during the low shear, settling and sagging are the problems or the phenomenon you have to look for, and medium shear viscosity is the viscosity you need or you experience during the in-can stirring. So the can viscosity which any coating manufacturer wants, so that is the medium shear viscosity. And you also need very good high shear viscosity for application properties. Ford cup, all of us know, is a very popular equipment to measure viscosity, but it covers only the small range of viscosity in medium shear. Then we have the Stormer viscometer that covers relatively larger area, but again in medium shear. Then you have the very famous Brookfield viscometer. You can cover more or less entire medium range and some part of low shear as well. And then you also have the ICI cone and plate viscometer, but that is only restricted to the high shear viscosity. Only rheometer is the instrument which can cover the entire range of shear from low to medium to high. BYK, as a leading coating additive manufacturer, has the large gamut of rheology additives. Here you can see we have Rheobic associative thickeners for water-based technology. We have Rheobic urea thixotropes, our well-known BYK 410, 411, 420 category. Rheobic organic derivatives. We have OptiGels, which are natural clays for water-based applications. We have special, very magic additive, I would say, Laponite, which is again a synthetic clay. We have Claytones, organoclays for solvent-based applications. We have Garamite, again a very nice product, special product I would say, for which is based on mixed mineral thixotrop. We have Rheobic Thix booster to enhance the properties of say Claytones and Garamites. And also we have some wax additives which also have some rheology properties. Out of these, we will focus mainly on these three categories in the coming slides. So when we talk about clay-based additive portfolio, we have for water-based applications as well as solvent-based and solvent-free applications. In water-based, we have natural clays called as optigels and synthetic clays as laponites. Under solvent-based category, we have claytones and we have garamides, which are mixed mineral thixotropes. And we will cover these two grades in the coming slides. So what are organoclays? So here in front of you is the schematic representation of a hydroclay. Now these hydroclays are basically hydrophilic. You have to make them hydrophobic or solvent compatible by replacing these cations. So there is a cation exchange reaction which is taking place and you are replacing those cations with quaternary ammonium salts. Only after this modification, your initial clay will be suitable for solvent-based application. As you all know, we have conventional organoclays which will need some polar activators, okay, like say simple water or methanol, ethanol, such type of hydroxy compounds. So these are the conventional hydroclays which will require polar activators for them to be effective. However, we also have self-activating organoclays. Here, additional modification of quaternary ammonium salt is done so that the same clay can be made use of as a self-activating organoclay, and you need not then use polar activator and your processing becomes relatively easier. So when we talk about claytone, what is the working mechanism? So all the clays come in the form of platelets. So they are really leafy structures. These are called phyllosilicates. So phyllos means leaf. So they really come in the packed stacks. Now these stacks, unless you give shear, they will not be separated. However, before separating, you also have to modify because as I mentioned earlier, initial clay is hydrophilic. So you are making it organo compatible by this quaternary ammonium modification, and then when you apply shear, then these platelets are separated and then ultimately you get this very nice network formation via hydrogen bonding. Remember, in case of conventional organoclays, I repeat, you have to use some polar activators. But if you are going for, if you wish to reduce the process, then you also have the option of self-activating organoclays. Here you need not use polar activators. They are relatively easier to disperse, and then post addition at even high shear is possible, because in case of conventional organoclays, you have to make the pre-gel and then use it. Then making use of this, you get very nice thixotropic flow behavior, which is again I mentioned is a ideal requirement of any coating formulator. Depending upon polarity, you have variety of options in clay tones. If you are considering conventional organoclays for low polarity system, then clay tone 40 is our first recommendation and most predominantly used organoclay in this application. If you are considering medium to high polarity, then clay tone HT is an option. If you want to use the organoclay in relatively high polarity solvent based system, then I would recommend Claytone VZ. Claytone MPZ is also conventional organoclay but with a very high performance. In self-activating organoclays, you have the Claytone AF as a counter for Claytone 40, then Claytone HY for medium polarity, and Claytone APA for relatively higher polarity solvents. I would recommend you can just print this chart and stick in front of you on your desk so that anytime you want to know which clay to go for, this is a very right guide. Then we will talk about garamite. Garamite again comes in the platelet structure. However, I would like to highlight here the rod-like structures, because in between two plates we have introduced rod-like structures. Just to give you some analogy, if you take two glass plates and keep over each other, maybe in between you can put one drop of water, okay, and then after placing two glass plates over each other, just try to pull them apart. It will be very difficult, okay. But just take one simple pin or say ball bearing refill and place in between those glass plates. What happens? Because of this rod-like structure in the form of pin or ball bearing, you are able to roll two glass plates over each other much easier way. Same thing applies here. Because of these rod-like structures in between plates, the garamite product is very easy to disperse. Of course, it also has to be modified with quaternary ammonium salts and then apply, you have to apply shear, but the shear requirement here is much lesser compared to our conventional organoclays because of these rod-like structures. And then ultimately you end up getting very nice network formation via hydrogen bonding, which gives extremely good pseudoplastic flow. So if you are looking for pseudoplastic flow behavior, garamite is the #1 recommendation. Most of the organoclays, you must be knowing, you cannot go pre-gel formation beyond say 8 or 10%. However, using this garamite product, which is very easier to disperse, you can go to the pre-gel formation of even say 15-16%, and still your jelly will be in a very handleable viscosity. Similar to organoclays, we also have nice options for garamite depending upon polarity. Polarity is very important. Garamite 1958, I would say, covers majority of our applications from low to mid to high polarity. However, if you are working with extremely low polarity and garamite 1958 for some reason is not working for you, then only we would recommend you to try garamite 7303 or garamite 7305 in case of extremely higher polarity solvent system. We also have garamite 2578. Now, you know, whenever you use any clay-based product, there is always the possibility of reduction of some percentage of gloss. And especially in top coats or some premium products, even gloss reduction of few units can be unacceptable by the final customer. So in this case, for some reason, if you have to use clay without compromising much on gloss properties, we would recommend you garamite 2578 because this is the grade for relatively high gloss requirements, baking enamels and high solid system. How garamite is behaving compared to other organoclays or fumed silica which are used for rheology effect, you can see over here. Garamite has extremely high viscosity, initial viscosity at the same dosage level. So out of organoclays and fumed silicas, which are also predominantly used in the market, garamite gives you much higher viscosity, initial viscosity at low shear. However, once you apply shear, viscosity is dropping down significantly, and again it is going back to its original level. So just to give you an example or the idea of the viscosity or rheology profile versus organoclay and garamite. So when we talk about garamite, we are essentially talking about pseudoplastic flow behavior, extremely fast structure rebuilding, and strong shear thinning effect versus result in low application viscosity. Another extremely important feature of garamite. So when we talk about garamite, easy dispersibility, what we discussed, let me run this video. And here we are comparing three different rheological additives: hydrophobic silica, hydrophilic silica, as well as garamite in unsaturated polyester at same dosage level, which is very important. And as you can see right from the beginning, the level of garamite was much lower than the hydrophobic silicas. So the bulk density of garamite is much higher compared to silicas. Now you see, just after 15 minutes, garamite, because of its very easy dispersibility, has completely gone into the system, and you can just stop your stirrer after 15 minutes. That is not the case with hydrophilic silica. You have to continue mixing, you have to continue giving a shear, maybe additional energy is required, time is gone, and after maybe half an hour, you are satisfied with the hydrophilic silica dispersion. What about hydrophobic silica? It is not dispersed properly yet. You have to continue mixing. So your stirrer is on, energy is getting consumed, and maybe after 45 minutes to 1 hour, you will say, okay, now I'm done with this hydrophobic silica dispersion. So this is the crucial difference, I would say. First, the bulk density. So if the in the minimum storage area, you will be able to stock more of garamite, and not just from stocking point of view, but imagine the situation at production level when your worker is using hydrophilic silica, which is extremely lightweight, lot of dusting is happening and posing the health hazard. So garamite is also very good in that sense as well. Then we come to water waste application. And when we talk about water waste application, associative thickeners is a very popular grade. So we at BYK have the Rheobic range of PU thickeners for water waste applications. What are these additives? These are water soluble polymers which attach water insoluble groups. And these insoluble groups, they interact firstly themselves, but more so with the latex particles, binder particles, emulsion particles in water-based system, so that because of this association of these water insoluble groups from the additive and these hydrophobic groups from the binder particle, they have the association, and hence your overall viscosity or rheology profile is changed. Because of this association, these grades are called as associative thickeners as well, or in common terminology, non-ionic additives are called as Hure grades, and anionic grades are called as Hayes thickeners, that is hydrophobically modified alkali scalable emulsions. What are the typical properties of these? First, you have the possibility to adjust the application at different shear rates, in low shear range, mid shear range, high shear range, depending upon the property requirement. You can have pseudoplastic or Newtonian flow behavior depending upon, again, your additive selection. You can have very good sag resistance improvement, anti-settling properties, because when even we talk about pigment dispersion for maybe colorants or paint, and when you apply, depending upon the wet film thickness, you are bound to face the sag, or maybe depending upon the pigment type, if it is say TiO2 or inorganic pigments, then settling is bound to happen. So from that point of view, you can choose the right additive and take care of settling tendency. They are easy to adjust the in-can viscosity because this can be post-added. Of course, you can always go for grinding, but ideally these are added in the let-down stage. They give very good high shear effect, alkyd feeling. So all of you are familiar with the alkyd enamel, which are very good in brushing, and this kind of brushability or that feel is also expected by the water-based emulsion paint. That can be achieved using the high shear effect. One important aspect is anti-spatter properties. Whenever contractor comes or painter comes to our house and starts painting, that is a real headache for us for various reasons. And one of them is lot of spattering or throwing away of the paint on maybe ground or different articles, furniture, sometimes on your own clothes. So that is not really desirable. PU thickeners are very good with respect to this trouble. So they have very good anti-spattering properties. And of course, they also resist to pH range, and they can be worked in the pH range of 6 to 12 as well. Just to give you an idea about different additive options in low shear thickness, medium shear thickness, medium shear range, and high shear, we have variety of additives here. I would like to draw your attention to even this product called as Rheobic 7600, because this is a special product for tinting stability, tint viscosity stabilization. All of you know that when you want to develop any deep shade in water-based application, you have the clear base, and in that clear base, you have to really load lot of colorant, maybe from Saujanya or any other colorant manufacturer. So in that case, when you add 10%, 12%, 15% of colorant, your initial viscosity of say 100, 110 Ku drops significantly because of the glycol content, the surfactants which are available in the colorants, and because they really break the association of the thickener present in the paint. This particular additive doesn't care about that. So if you develop your base based on Rheobic 7600 and add colorant, the viscosity drop, I will not say is stopped, but it is minimized. And you can really very well try this out, this material, because this is a global problem, viscosity drop on colorant addition, especially in deep shades. Rheology M2600 is another product I would like to highlight because this is a kind of medium shear thickener, and if for some reason customer
Hello. Mr. Abhijit? Okay, I guess we have a similar problem, but I think we are perhaps at the end of the presentation of BYK, so we'll wait for a minute or so for Mr. Avalaskar to connect again.
Jatinji, am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are.
I think I got disconnected for about 15 seconds or so. I don't know how much time.
We got you back, sir. Don't worry.
So around 2 minutes.
Okay. So was I at?
You can continue with the presentation, sir. Share the PPT and then bring it to the close because we don't have much time left, please.
Okay, I will have to reshare. Just a minute. Jatinji, just a minute. I am just sharing.
Absolutely okay, sir. What is in your background? Is it a lab or what?
It's our small conference room.
Okay.
Okay. Now my screen should be visible.
Perfect, sir. Just make it full screen. We are on.
Okay.
Thank you.
So when you are confused about the rheology additive selection for water base, always start with the high shear thickener so that you get very good leveling, brushability, roller application. If just using high shear thickener, your paint doesn't have any settling, doesn't have any sagging properties, then just stick to that. However, if a paint has some settling tendency or you need better sag resistance, then along with high shear thickener, use some low shear thickener, and in that you have variety of options in front of you. Just some results from the lab, and here you can see we have compared two of our additives from high shear and low shear thickeners. So OptiFlow, now it is known as Rheobic L1400VF, and OptiFlow H3300VF, now it is known as Rheobic H3300VF. We compared these two additives against the competition from the market at the same active dosage, which is very important. And then this is the initial viscosity, and if you compare the stability data, then in this right hand side bottle, which was the accelerated stability study, you can see some synergies which is present in the competition, whereas sample based on OptiFlows was perfectly okay. The same performance or the same settling and synergies tendencies also confirmed in this accelerated test, wherein we dilute the paint to the tune of say 30% and check after 2 days what is the scenario. So here also you can see significant synergies properties in on the right hand side competition samples. So now we are just coming to the end of our presentation, and I would like to just brief you about the rebranding of our well-known products like BYK 410, BYK 411. Now those are all known by Rheobic series, and the full list is in front of you. We also talked about the OptiFlow in the earlier slide. Now they are known as Rheobic. So all the products are now known as Rheobic, and this is just for your understanding, so that tomorrow if you have already some samples with the name of BYK, and if you call for new material and you get it with Rheobic 410, you should not get confused. Product is absolutely the same, only the product name is changed. That's it. So in summary, what are the important things to consider? First and foremost is polarity. Polarity is absolutely important irrespective of what kind of additive you are using, whether it is wetting dispersing or defoamer or surface additive, or even in case of rheology. Whether it is water-based, which is high polar, of course, but within solvent-based as well, you have to consider what kind of solvent system I am using. Is it low polarity or high polarity or medium polarity? Because depending upon the polarity, you will have to go for maybe Clayton 40 or Clayton HT or Clayton APA, so forth. Secondly, coating type. What type of coating I am formulating? Is it a top coat or is it a base coat? Because depending upon the coating type, your additive will differ. In case of say clay additives, your dosage will also be get restricted. In case of base coat, where gloss properties are not really that much critical, you don't have much of the problem with respect to dosage or even the additive type. What are our mixing conditions? Am I able to grind the material? Do I have to make pre-gel, or I don't have any option, but I have to go for only let down? So depending upon that, again, your additive selection will change. And ultimately, what properties you are looking for? Are you looking for anti-settling properties or anti-sagging properties? Or settling and sagging is not a problem for me, but I just want very good flow and leveling and brush drag. So depending upon all these things, you will have to zero it down to the right additive selection. However, in case of any support, and if you find it very difficult, then you can always come to our technology center, which is located in Pune. And this is the lab which is open for all the customers to come with their problems, come with their raw materials, work here, stay here, and go out with the solution. So that is the ultimate aim what we are looking at. We have the processing equipments, but as well on the right hand side you can also see we have also testing equipments and instruments as well. And for any technical query, I would like to also mention you about our team, which is headed by Viswajit, who is our MD of BYK India Private Limited, Mr. Akash, who is our sales head and also taking care of can and coil coatings, Mr. Amol, who is our automotive powder and general industrial technical service person, myself Abhijit, I'm taking care of decorative, of course, Pawan, who is taking care of wood, flooring, protective coatings, and construction chemicals. And we also have Supriya and Satyam, who are there to support you in all kinds of lab activities. Not just the paint, but in the plastic and IA and instrument side as well. We have Mr. Sadanand taking care of business line activities for plastic, Amol, uh, then Yogesh, Adesh, who are taking care of industrial applications. We have Kiran Joshi, who is taking care of entire BYK instrument business, and we also have our representative in China from Bangladesh. So that's all from my side. I thank you once again for being a very patient listener, and thank you so much, IPCA, once again. If there are any queries, then we can always take care of that. Thank you so much.
So nice to Mr. Avalaskar. I think it was a beautiful presentation. I'm requesting Mr. Rohan Basin if he has certain questions or maybe one, because we are running 5 minutes late. It's not that bad, but still, if we can catch up. So if you have any question, Rohan.
Yeah, I will go for two quick questions, Mr. Avalaskar. The first one being that at what stage, garamite needs to be added, and do we require to make it into the form of a jelly, or it can be incorporated as such? And what is the dosage percentage which you recommend?
Okay, perfect. So garamite, if you are able to make pre-gels, nothing like that. But that is not the criteria. You can even add it in the mill base or in let down, because it is relatively easier to disperse. Doesn't need very high shear, unlike our conventional organoclays. So many customers also make use of it in situ process. So you just take your binder and solvent composition, add garamite in the beginning, mix, disperse it, which is relatively quite easier. We also saw the video, and then you can add rest of your raw materials. That is absolutely perfect. So all in all, I would say Garamet can be added at any point of time.
Okay, thank you so much. And one last question is for unsaturated polyesters. Do you recommend any additives for polymerization?
Additives for polymerization, from my understanding, we do not have any additives from polymerization point of view, but I will have to confirm and come back to you if it is okay to you.
No issues, sir. Thank you so much for your time. This session was, I think, picture perfect in terms of both knowledge as well as technology, with hardly any glitches. And over to Jatin ji now.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Avalaskar. Just to appreciate your time and your efforts and, of course, your sponsorship, we would like to present you with a small memento. And of course, this is not a virtual memento which won't be sent across to you. So Mr. Rajiv Bhai is taking care that these will be couriered to you to your respective addresses. So nice of you, sir. Pleasure having you
so much, and appreciate entire IPCA team for their efforts and preparation right from the beginning. Thank you so much.
So nice of you. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Friends, now is the time to relax and listen to a beautiful person who has had a lot of experience. Our management speaker, Professor Hiten Muchalla. He'll be speaking on the topic growth mindset. In a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brain and talent are just a starting point. This view creates a love of learning and a resilience that is essential for great accomplishments. In today's time, we could not have asked for anybody better than Professor Hiten Muchalla to throw some light and instill the positivity and the growth mindset in us all. Professor Hiten Muchalla is a professor of strategy and a practicing businessman with 28 years of professional experience. He has been teaching at SP Jain School of Global Management, Mumbai, under the Global Family Management Business program since 2014, where he teaches young Skyans and entrepreneurs preparing to join family business. He's a first generation entrepreneur who joined his family business of textile trading in 1992 and later set up another family business to manufacture plastic products in 1997 and manages it till date as its founding director. Hiten has the unique distinction of being a faculty who is also a practicing businessman, which helps him break down complex theories into simple, relatable learning methodologies. His classes are a mix of conventional discussions, case studies, and simulations to prepare participants face real-life challenges in business. He is actively involved in the evolution of Student Business Plan, a vital element of the GFMB program. He regularly speaks at various local and international forums and webinars, conducts corporate workshops, mentors, and consults entrepreneurs and small and medium enterprises. He loves and reads to write. Some of his articles are posted on his website and LinkedIn profile. Over to you, Mr. Muchalla. Pleasure having you amongst us. All the best. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Jatin Agarwal ji, for kind introduction. My namaste to all of you who have joined today. And before I start, let me share my presentation. All right, is my screen visible? Can somebody give me a thumbs up?
Yes. Yes.
Is the screen visible? Yeah. Okay.
All right. It's visible. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So first of all, thank you, IPCA, for inviting me for this session. Also, my special thanks to the knowledge partners and the sponsors, Tipco, BYK, Dow, Hubak, I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, RSA, Sapichi, and Saujanya. And to all of you who are listening to me. So let me straight away start by asking you this very, very sharp question, which is where growth comes from. the growth of my business, where does it come from? And since it's not an interactive session. Okay, all right, I can see some responses. Just give me a minute. Absolutely right, Mr. Milind Mahajan. Mind. Most of us believe that growth comes from sales, growth comes from people, growth comes from customers. But you are absolutely right when you say growth comes from mind. And rather, let me say mindset. Not mind, but mindset. We all have mind, but we don't have mindset. Growth comes from mindset. And that's precisely my topic for today. So the topic has two separate words, growth and mindset. So I'm going to discuss about how you bring growth in your business little later. But let me try to first understand, let us try to understand what is mind, what is mindset all about. What I've tried to do is I'm throwing up some few words on your screen. And these are not words which are very difficult to understand. We use them in day-to-day language of our business. Okay. So one is cost reduction. One is capacity utilization. I am not able to utilize my capacity to its fullest. How do I improve my capacity utilization? New product development. I think something that you heard my previous speakers talking about, right? They were only trying to help you to develop new products. New markets, new customers, new countries. Efficiency improvement. I have manufacturing unit or I am a trader distributor. I want to improve the efficiency of my business. Logistics. The customer keeps calling me to find out मेरा माल कभी निकल रहा है. Or we keep on pursuing our supplier. भैया raw material कभी भेज रहे हो? Innovation. How much innovation are we doing? R&D, branding, training, creative processes in my company, not the normal processes, creative processes. Future strategy. What's going to be my future strategy? How am I going to build barriers to competition? And last but not the least, quality controls. How do I improve my quality? How do I ensure that the right quality product goes to my customer? Now, my question to you is, these are all the words that we use in our business. Make a quick either mental note or you can write it down on a paper. Which of these you spend your major time on in your business? Which of these activities? I'll give you about 10 seconds or 15 seconds. You can write it down or you can have mental notes. Which of these activities consume maximum of your time in the business? Now, if what you've written on the paper or the mental notes that you made is about cost reduction, capacity utilization, logistics, efficiency improvement, cycle time reduction, training, quality controls, this is one side which is consuming your maximum time if you've chosen these activities. If you've chosen the other activities, and what I've tried to do is I've tried to put them into two separate parts, make it more easy for you. Okay. So the words which were under circle, I've put them in the red box. And the words which are outside the circle, I've put them in the green box. And now it looks much easier to understand. Which of this side, left or right, is consuming most of my time in my business? And if the answer is left, some of you, the answer is right. What is the difference? What is the difference between the two? Look at it very closely. What is the difference? Just a minute, I can see few chat responses. Again, Mr. Milind Mahajan, right side, growth lies. Sonal Goel says, efficiency improvement training. Yeah, okay. Professor Malshe, he says that he spends more of his time on the right side. Veerbhadra Singh says for sales on the left side. Many responses, right? I'm not trying to get too much into all the responses, but yes, we get an overview. Some people on the left, some people on the right. What is the difference? I'm not trying to say one is important over the other. I'm not saying that. All these activities are important. But where is the maximum time spent? Where does my mind spend maximum time in the day? And what is the difference? Let's try to understand this. And as very rightly said, all the activities of my business on the left side deal with what is called as productivity. How can I improve my productivity? All the things on the left are productivity development measures. But all that you see on your right side deals with creativity. You're trying to create something. So on one side, one type of activities which are productive, one side, other side, the activities are creative. And trust me, I have thrown this question to most of the people all the time, even during the workshops. Majority of the people spend majority of the time on the left side, trying to become more productive. And why does that happen? Why does that behavior happen? Why our mind works that way? कि हमें कुछ R&D करना है, but एक मिनट रुको, कस्टमर का फोन आया मुझे. I have to respond to him. Okay, leave R&D for a while. Let me first handle this part. Why our mind works this way? The reason is the one activities on the left that you see are easy and they are measurable. But the activities which are on the right side are abstract and they are long term. If you're doing branding, if you're doing research and development, if you're doing innovation, it's not going to help your business immediately. It's going to help you in the long run. Whereas if you make good quality controls, if you delegate training and everything, cycle time reduction happens in your company. It gives you short-term, quick responses, quick ideas. It's easy to measure. And that is where the difference between these two are. The one on the left deals with costs. The one on the right deals with growth. Both are important. I'm repeating that sentence again. Both are important. Cost reduction is equally important in current times. Growth is equally important. But what happens is our human mind works in such a way that most of the times our mind drifts more towards the left side than on the right side. We are not able to balance it well. That's the key challenge. And that's our regular mindset in our business. Every day we go to the business in the morning, we decide, आज मैं ये करूंगा, आज मैं ये creativity करूंगा, आज नए customer को पकड़ूंगा. Eventually, the whole day goes into firefighting, into solving problems. It's not that we don't wish to do it, we are forced to do it. And that's how our mind works. Let's try to understand. This mind is very funny. Let's try to understand how our mind was working 3 months ago when we were all in lockdown, April and May. How was it working? Before I say that, when your mind works more on the left side of what I've shown you is what is called in our management parlance as the Red Queen effect. What is Red Queen effect? Red Queen effect means you are making unsuccessful efforts to get ahead of your competition. The businesses might not achieve their goals because the competition engages in same business practice as you. Let me explain. All the activities which are productive on the left side, it's easy for your competitors to copy, imitate, catch up with you. But the activities on the right side are difficult for your competitors to copy and imitate. This is typically what we call it as a Red Queen effect. All these activities on the left are what is called as Red Queen. Our focus is to balance both of them. Now let's try to, as I said, let's try to push ourselves back 2-3 months ago. April end, May month, when we were all sitting at home, doing nothing. There's a complete lockdown. And what were we doing? We couldn't make any telephone calls because nobody had any information. The markets were closed. The country was under lockdown. The world was under lockdown. So what did we do all this time? Our factory was shut. Our warehouses were shut. Businesses were shut. Offices were shut. Everything was shut. Most of the time, we either spent watching TV or mobile, social media. And what were we hearing in the news on social media all the time? All the time we were constantly hearing about the rise in COVID case, what will happen, it's a black swan event, and so on and so forth. I don't want to get too much over there. And in that process, it impacted our minds at that time. Because on one side, the businesses were closed. We as businessmen, as business owners were very fearful. पैसा कैसे आएगा कस्टमर के पास से, और अगर कस्टमर से पैसा नहीं आया तो मैं मेरे सप्लायर को कैसे दूंगा? एंड फॉरगेट सप्लायर तो एक बार संभल भी जाएगा, मेरे वर्कर्स को कैसे पैसा दूंगा? हाउ विल दे सस्टेन? We were extremely fearful because of what we call it as a recency bias phenomenon. Recency bias means what we hear and what we read in the recent time greatly affects our mind. This was COVID time, lockdown mindset. This is what happened in the lockdown. Let's fast forward ourselves today. Let's fast forward ourselves today. What has happened today? Last couple of months, the businesses have opened. All the businesses have started. They're not humming with activities. They've started. Thoda kaam ho raha hai sabka. But now what we've started realizing, sales have collapsed. So sales have collapsed anywhere pre-COVID level se compare karenge. Most of us will be anywhere between 20 to 50 or 60% across all industries. There are some outliers, some outlying industries like pharma, chemicals, and of course they are hitting 100% pre-COVID levels. In fact, some of them more than 100% pre-COVID levels. Now, there was an unlock. We have started attending our business, and now suddenly we realize in a month and two that our sales have collapsed. अभी प्रॉब्लम क्या है? कस्टमर को फोन करेंगे तो कस्टमर को लगेगा कि हम पेमेंट के लिए फोन कर रहे हैं, वहां पे फोन कर नहीं सकते हैं. सप्लायर को फोन करेंगे, वो पेमेंट मांगेगा, वहां पे भी फोन नहीं कर सकते हैं. मेरा बिजनेस डाउन है, माय बिजनेस इज डाउन, सेल्स आर 30-40% लेवल्स. ये मेरे साथ हो रहा है कि इट इज हैपनिंग विद एवरीवन. दैट इज आवर माइंडसेट राइट नाउ. That is our mindset in unlock phase. And so what do? किसी से तो बात करनी पड़ेगी. Travel कर नहीं सकते हैं because of traveling restrictions. So now we don't understand in market on ground level what is happening. We can't understand, and we can't call customer, we can't call supplier. किसको फोन करेंगे? So suddenly we get this idea. अरे एक काम करते हैं, मैं मेरे कॉम्पिटिटर को ही फोन करता हूं. सडनली फोन उठा लिया बॉम्बे से, दिल्ली, गुप्ता जी क्या खबर है? एंड गुप्ता जी भी आपके जैसे ही ढीले हैं क्योंकि उनका भी सेल डाउन है. ही इज योर कॉम्पिटिटर. आज तक कभी बात नहीं की थी उसके साथ में. फर्स्ट टाइम वी आर रीचिंग आउट टू आवर कॉम्पिटिटर्स. क्या लग रहा है भैया मार्केट, आपका सेल कैसा चल रहा है? एंड गुप्ता जी सेज मेरा सेल अभी 40% है सर, प्री कोविड लेवल. एंड वी फील सडनली वेरी हैप्पी इन आवर हार्ट. व्हाई डू वी फील हैप्पी? चलो गुप्ता जी का 40% है तो मेरा भी 35-40% है, मतलब प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. That is our mindset. And in doing that, where are we focusing right now? ये सब करने के साथ, where are we focusing? We are focusing on our existing products and existing markets. Means मेरी existing जो products है और मेरी जो existing market है जहां पे मैं बिजनेस कर रहा हूं, जहां पे गुप्ता जी मेरे कॉम्पिटिटर है, आई एम फोकसिंग देयर. Now in current times, what is the problem if you focus here too much? Your existing product range and your existing customer base, your existing market. गुप्ता जी से बात करके खुशी तो मिल गई, काम बनेगा? Can we grow? No. तसल्ली मिली, growth नहीं मिलेगा. What is the problem here when you are focusing right now? क्योंकि business unlock हो गए हैं, the problem is mindset unlock नहीं हुआ है, mindset अभी भी locked है. It is locked in these existing product, existing markets. And the result is pricing pressure. The customers have started saying, sir, price कम करके दे दो, cash discount दे दो. और दूसरी चीज आप माल देंगे, टाइम लगेगा सर, 30 days आप आज तक आपको पेमेंट करता था, अभी 75-90 days समझ के चलना. Because we are focusing on this side. Mind is locked. Mind is not unlocked. And when you are focusing here, all the time you are thinking about how can I penetrate my market more? How can I grab market share? वो गुप्ता जी का market share मैं कैसे ले सकता हूँ, दिल्ली वाले? How can I drive out my competition? Now, don't you think that the way you are thinking, your competitor is thinking the same way? He is. And when you are thinking like this right now, currently, is what is called as a fixed mindset. मेरा mindset एक छोटा हो गया है, संकुचित हो गया है. I'm only focusing on my existing product and existing markets. I'm feeling happy by talking to my competitor that okay, उसका भी कम है business, मेरा भी कम है, तो अभी मैं existing में कैसे बढ़ा सकता हूँ? Price कम करूँगा, customers को ज़्यादा temptation दूंगा. That is what we do, and that becomes fixed mindset. But that's not the topic of our discussion today. The topic of our discussion is what is growth mindset? And the growth mindset is, of course, it's diametrically opposite of this. And that diametrically opposite of this is that now suddenly you feel, मेरे business में अभी मजा नहीं. Let me start thinking of new products. Let me start thinking of new customer base, new markets. There's nothing wrong. There's no harm in thinking like this. There are many opportunities that have come up. Many people have diversified into making, manufacturing and selling sanitizers, masks, and so on and so forth, because the consumer behavior has changed. And many people have done this. But when do you do this? If you or me are a business person, when do we do this? Suddenly we change our entire product category, product range, and go to new customers, new markets. When do we do this? It's a high risk game. It's a high risk game, and to de-risk, how do you de-risk is that? What is the way out? If you want to go here, if you want to get into new products and new markets, the one way to de-risk yourself is get either into joint venture, some kind of collaboration. So you go here, you start thinking of going here only when you have a good joint venture partner or a collaboration. Or alternatively, you have breakthrough innovation. कुछ ऐसा मैंने बनाया है जो नया है नए customers के लिए, which nobody else is able to supply. This is when you decide to go here. But it's again high risk. So growth mindset चाहिए मुझे. I want to grow my business, but I don't want to take so much risk. This is not the time to take risk. Some of you may be thinking this way. So what is the other way? Can there be other way? I don't want to get into new products and new markets. The third way of thinking is, can I develop new products, but for my existing customers? Can I have larger share of my customers' wallet? मैं नहीं बनाता हूं, कोई दूसरा बना के कोई चीजें दे रहा है, but I want to develop those products and sell it to the same customer. Existing markets. Now here your risk levels are much lower because you know the customer. The question is, when do you think of this? When do you think of this? You think of this quadrant when you are very good with your customer relations. Your customer relations are so good, any new product that you develop and you take them to your existing customers, they'll say, "Bhej do bhaiya. I'll support you." And when they say this, this is when you take this kind of a step. You're moving out from fixed mindset to a growth mindset. You're changing the way you are doing things. But at the same time, you're not taking overtly high risks. Theoretically, there is a fourth quadrant. Now, when do you do this? I'm sorry, let me go to this part. When do you go to your existing customers with new product? When you have strong customer relationships. And in that case, what is going to be your company's focus? Your company's focus will be on developing product, R&D, product development, process development, product range expansion. So far, I was giving only 10 types of SKUs. I'm adding another 5 SKUs to my portfolio. Product expansion. That is where your focus is. Theoretically, there is a fourth quadrant also, which is again less risk and which is diametrically opposite of this one, which says, I don't want to increase my product range. My existing product range is excellent, perfect. Can I develop new markets? Can I develop new customers? I was only doing business in south of India. Can I add central India? Can I go to East India? Can I go to West India? Can I go outside India? With my same products, I don't want to increase my products. Now the question is, when do you decide to do this? In the previous case, you do when you are very good with customer relationships. Because you know कि मेरा existing customer है, उसको पे कुछ भी नया माल दिखाऊंगा, ले लेगा, he'll support me, he'll encourage me, he'll motivate me. Here, you are going to a new customer with your existing products. When do you do this? You will do this when you as a company and business have that product expertise. You know that product very well. I was hearing this gentleman from BYK, the way he was explaining his product. I could sense that he has that product expertise. That company has product expertise. Now, when this company takes that product to new customers, I'm sure new customers are going to get tempted and buy it. So fourth quadrant, this is fourth way of growing. And when you go to new customers with your existing products, because you have expertise on those products, what is going to be your focus area now? Your key activities in your company are going to be more around branding, market development, creating sales and distribution channel, winning and creating markets. The focus is totally different. Which means you're trying to move out of fixed mindset to a growth mindset. And growth mindset gives you these three kinds of opportunities. One is high risk and the other one is with less risk. What we discussed in the previous slide is what we call it in management parlance as organic growth. A lot of you must have heard of this terminology. Newspapers में और सब जगह पे काफी समझ में आता है. This company is creating an organic growth. That organic growth is nothing but what we discussed in the previous slide. Organic growth means you are trying to grow internally. You are trying to create expansion. You are trying to modernize your facilities. You are trying to diversify your business, but you are trying to do everything with your own strength. That's called organic growth. There is another way to grow. And again, you must have heard of that terminology many times, inorganic growth. And COVID gives you now these many opportunities of inorganic growth. What is inorganic growth? Inorganic growth is external. It leads to quick gains. Organic growth takes time. मैंने आज कुछ expansion किया है, नई markets develop करनी है, नए product range develop करनी है, it takes time. Inorganic growth is quick. You are trying to acquire or merge with a company that has already worked on something. So that company has spent enough time, energy, and money and capital, and you are trying to take over and acquire that company. And trust me, those of you who are cash rich today, this is a phenomenal time to look at this inorganic growth. Can we acquire or can we merge? Growth mindset. So these two terminologies are very, very oftenly spoken about in newspapers or media. There is a third way of growth. And that third way of growth is what is called as growth from optionality. Now, this you may not have heard anywhere because this is something that I have thought through. No media, no newspaper writes about this. Growth from optionality. What is growth from optionality? Growth from optionality leads to asymmetric gains. 1 2 ka 4. Which means when you flip a coin, heads and tails, if heads comes, I win. But if tails comes, I don't lose much. I lose, but I don't lose much. Bad luck can't harm me, but good luck can benefit me a lot more. That is what is called as growth from optionality. So what is this optionality? Kya hai ye? Okay. And trust me, it's not something that you don't know. I'm just trying to bring it all together for you. Now let's try to first understand, before understanding optionality, what is optional value? How do I build optional value in my business? Let's try to understand. Today we are all talking about disheartened, disappointed, and we tell business down hai. Business is on a decline. Now there's something very important which we need to understand. Any curve that you see, upward or downward, is never linear. The one you see in the blue color is long-term prediction. And the long-term prediction is, let's say that your industry is on an uptrend. But in real life, it doesn't go in a linear way. Straight nahi jata upar. There are ups and downs, which are called as short-term peaks and short-term bottoms. The curve that you see in the blue is what we call in management terminology as structural curve. And the curve that surrounds that structural curve is what we call it as cyclical curve. And this you must have heard in the newspapers. They talk about this. This industry is structurally downwards. Structurally downward means basic structurally industry is going to fall. And again, it's not going to fall in a linear way. It's going to fall in curves. So there'll be ups and downs again. So what is optionality if you are a part of cyclical industry? And what is cyclical industry? A typical case of real estate. Real estate is what we call it as a typical cyclical industry. 8-10 years of cycle. Very high uptrend, very high downtrend. Infrastructure, same thing. But if you ask somebody, how does real estate and infrastructure look like over a period of time in India? Everybody will say next 20, 25, 30 years, they look phenomenal. But if today you ask any real estate developer, bahut mandi hai dhande, which means structurally the industry is upwards, but currently, cyclically, the industry is downwards. And those of us who belong to these kinds of industry, most important is we need to avoid madness. We need to avoid madness because what happens, especially when these are cyclically going up, there's a crazy madness. There's a crazy rush of investments. For example, steel prices. When the steel prices start shooting up through the roof or cement prices start shooting up through the roof, most of the manufacturers in that industry will start expanding their capacities at that time. It's a madness. Now, the expansion takes a few years. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a couple of years, 2 years, 3 years. By the time the expansion happens, the steel price, cement prices collapses. You have done that madness you are screwed. But then there are some people, some players who are very smart. They say, I don't want to get into this madness. I'm going to stay out of it. I'm going to observe. I'm going to let this madness get over. And then I'm going to conserve cash. लोगों को कमा लेने दो उस टाइम पे, because वो downward आने वाला है. All these capacity increment which is going to happen is going to lead to a downward cycle, because there's going to be a massive pressure on prices once the capacities get on stream. I'm going to avoid madness. And that gentleman avoids madness. And then he waits for the cycle of तेजी मंदी. He says, 2 साल जाने दो, कोई बात नहीं है, मैं मेरा जो business लेके बैठा हूं मैं वही संभालूंगा. Let my competitors earn. And then comes a time when there is a mandi. Things go down. Now this gentleman has conserved cash. And at this time, he will either do the acquisition of those assets, or he will acquire the material in quantity, whereas his competitors have no money. They are dying. They are strained. They are bleeding because of their madness. Now the question in your mind is, how can avoiding madness be a growth mindset? The question is, avoiding madness was to grow when the cycle was down and grow exponentially. Optionality, 1 2 ka 4. But for that, you need to be patient. You need to avoid madness. Now, once this smart guy has avoided madness and now he's ready to play the cycle, it is mandi time, he is full of cash. The next important part for him to understand is, how much money should I bet? How much money should I put into that business? Either in terms of inventory or in terms of acquiring a company. And that is where the knowledge of capital allocation comes in. How much are the odds in my favor? Let me make this little simple for you. Most of us who have gone to casino, we may not be gamblers, but we've gone to casinos. The most visible game in a casino is roulette. Now, roulette has 36 numbers. Okay. And why it is most popular and famous is because you bet on a number. If you get that number, you get almost 30 times your money. So most people are tempted. बोलते यार ये तो अच्छा है, एक नंबर पे लगा दिया, लग गया तो 30 times straight away. And वही रूले के ऊपर there is something called as black and red, odd and even. वहां पे you get only double. Most people without understanding bet their money on numbers, not realizing that the odds in their favor are 1 divided by 36, because there are 36 numbers. The odds are highly unfavorable. There is 1 by 36th chance that they will win. That's why the payoff is very high. But still people lose. The money always goes to the house. Whereas in case of a red and black or odd and even, it is 50-50. It is 50% in your favor, 50% against you. The odds are far better than betting on a number. This is what we need to understand in our business. Many times, people like you and me who are into business, when the raw material prices crashes, we have money, we suddenly have this gambling tendency. Le lete hain maal, kharid lete hain. And that is where this smart guy is going to be allocating capital only to the extent the odds are in his favor. He's going to buy at every price. He's not going to create madness. And when you avoid madness, you are building a huge optionality in your business. 1 2 ka 4 ho sakta hai. And that's a growth mindset. Let us talk about structurally declining industry. For example, your industry is structurally declining. Your industry has got disrupted. For instance, let us take an example, and it's a very long shot I'm taking, okay, is about petrol and diesel cars today. And tomorrow electric vehicles get successful. And now petrol and diesel cars are structurally declining industry. Okay, let's try to understand that. What will you do if you were a Maruti or if you were a Tata Motors? What will Maruti do? Of course, the knee-jerk reaction of all of you will be switch over into electric vehicles. Itna aasan hai kya? You and me are running a business, right? Is it so easy to change our product range? Is it easy to make losses so quickly? It takes time. It takes mental efforts. There are so many things attached to it. When you are in a structurally declining industry, the first thing you'll do is you'll start harvesting. Harvesting means you'll get down to the skeleton level of your business. Cut down on your product range, cut down on your customers, cut down on the credits, cut down on your purchases, cut down on your inventories. Everything, skeleton level. That's the first thing you'll do. And the second thing is you will wait for the next big trend to happen. You'll remain at skeleton level for a long time because you know you are in a structurally declining industry. So you'll try to create as much cash reserves and buffers as possible and stay on cash till you spot the next big opportunity. And that is what we call it as leapfrogging. What is leapfrogging? I'll give you one very simple example. Hero Munjals were originally manufacturing bicycles. And they were doing very well. Now, after cycles came mopeds. They didn't do anything. And mopeds really picked up well. Mopeds ke baad mein aaya scooters, Bajaj, Chetak. They didn't do anything. And now they realized that they've lost out on that opportunity. Now, is it advisable to get into mopeds or scooters where already there are leaders? They waited, remained patient. And then they leapfrogged into manufacturing of motorcycles. New product, new market, जो मैंने आपको पहले बताया. And when you are in new product, new market, from cycles you are getting into motorcycles, it means it's a big risk. And to de-risk themselves, they got into a joint venture partnership with Honda. That's how they became Hero Honda. Leapfrogging. Building optionality. 1 to 4. And we know what Hero Honda is today. And last one is about balanced industries. Industries like your industry, paint industry. It's relatively a balanced industry. It's not highly cyclical. It's not declining. It's a balanced industry. Of course, cycles will be there, but structurally it's far more balanced. What will somebody like you, players like you will do in a balanced industry? How do you generate that growth mindset? How do you instill that optionality in your business? One way of doing it is creating constant innovations. R&D. Can we focus more on that? Can I allocate more part of my time and activity into my laboratory, R&D department? And suddenly, if you develop some product, you're hitting a jackpot. Optionality. At the same time, you are only spending so much percentage of your sales and profits that even if that R&D doesn't work, it's not going to hurt you. Which means heads I win, tails I don't lose much. Optionality. The second is following continuous improvement process. Kaizen. Now, most of us don't do this because these improvements are very small. We don't realize छोटी-छोटी बातों से पूर्णता होती है और पूर्णता छोटी बात नहीं है. We don't realize this. Small things add up to big things. We don't realize this, and we always ignore this. We don't realize that this is building optionality in my business. Beyond a certain point, competitors will not be able to catch up with my improvements. The third type is focus. Can I focus? Can I look at my product range far more in detail? And when I look at my product range more in detail, I realize that, oh my God, there are these 1 or 2 products which sell in very small quantity, but they are giving me so much margins, so much profit, and customer सामने से मांगता है. मेरे घर में माल भी नहीं रहता है. But I've always been ignoring them because the markets are small. They're not buying so much. Sale नहीं है इतना बड़ा मेरा. Can I focus there? Can I focus on those products where I have a product expertise and I develop new markets? I am there, nobody else is there. Heads I win, tails I don't lose much. Diametrically opposite, can I focus on niche and micro markets? There are some of my customers who are demanding some types of products from me. They're highly customized. My current operations make it very expensive for me to change over to customization. But पैसा बहुत है. I'm earning a lot. Can I develop those markets? Building optionality. Heads I win, tails I don't lose much. And last but not the least, growth. Most of us, and this is some beautiful thing which I want to talk to you about, is the theory of golden circles. A lot of you must have heard of Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek is a fantastic orator and he's an author, and he has come up with this theory called the golden circle theory. What is golden circle? So what he does is he draws 3 circles. In the outside circle, he writes what. In the middle circle, how. And in the innermost circle, why. Now, most of us, when we are asked, what do you do? What is your business? We very well say, we are into paints. हम paints बनाते हैं. हमारा ये range है. This is what we do. This is our price points. This is the markets we cater to. We are very, very clear about what we do. So somebody will ask you, how do you do this paints? So then we are even more happy. We open up, we tell him, ये हम chemicals use करते हैं, ये machinery use करते हैं. These are the people. This is my production facility. This is how we do the paints. This is how we do the coating. The toughest question is understanding why. If I was to ask you, why are you into paints business? Why are you into coating business? Now that answer is difficult to find. But that answer actually brings growth mindset. The moment you start thinking, why am I into paints? And then you think and you realize, I'm into the process of beautifying things. I'm into the process of protecting things. And suddenly you realize, why the hell should I only be in paints then? What are the other ways to beautify things? What are the other ways to protect things? And suddenly it's a growth mindset. You realize that your purpose of business is far bigger than what you are thinking. And that is what leads to growth mindset. Rajiv bhai, I think I'm overshooting the time. I can stop here.
Sir, I think you have something pending from your side which you need to conclude.
No, I can conclude right away because then there's one case study which we may or we may not discuss. So that's fine.
Okay, I think it's better if we conclude it because we are already touching 5:20.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure that there would be a lot of questions. And first of all, my compliments.
So anyway, I think before that, let me just have a finishing statement on this.
Sure, sure. Please take your time.
So this is about, so what we've seen is 3 types of growth mindset: organic growth, inorganic growth, and growth from optionality. We need to apply ourselves here. And as I said before, छोटी-छोटी बातों से पूर्णता होती है और पूर्णता छोटी बात नहीं है. Let's start taking small steps, baby steps towards these activities, towards this growth mindset. Growth is not going to be elusive to us. We will grow. That's going to be our mindset. So thank you all of you so much. Thank you for listening to me. And over to you, sir.
I think my heartfelt congratulations and very beautifully prepared presentation. I think we all can learn from your knowledge and your experience. 28 years of a lethal combination of having being a teacher and also a businessman. So, sir, my first question would be: what gives you more pleasure, Does educating people and sharing knowledge give you more pleasure and joy? What brings you the maximum joy? And of course, after that, Mr. Rohan Bhasin would be taking the question.
So, if you remember, I'm just trying to make this little lighter. There's a meme that goes on in the social media, and there's this gentleman who's asked this question that, okay, if given a choice, would you like to go for a dinner with your wife or, and before he says or, he says or the second option. Okay. So same way, when you're asking me this question, it's very, very immediate answer, which is education. And I just love giving back in whatever little way I can. It's more about contributing.
So nice of you. I think that is one of the perfect endings to a very, very insightful and a beautiful presentation. I remember, when we were looking for an orator to give justice and do justice to our, the webinar, IPCA virtual webinar, Rajiv Bhai was emphatically praising you. And of course, then we went through few of your videos. Of course, you're a very renowned person in Mumbai, but I think now after hearing you, my sincere compliments and my compliments for your beautiful presentation also. I think it was graphically very soothing. It was very well prepared. A lot of efforts have gone into it. And the detailing was definitely, which we appreciate. I'm requesting Mr. Rohan Bhasin to ask any questions from the Q&A or any panelists.
So any panelists would like to ask any further questions? Because I think what Professor Sir has done is answered all the answers in the presentation probably. And people have fewer questions. They all praise for the presentations. Any of the other panelists, if they have any questions, they can go ahead.
If I may ask, Rohan?
Yeah.
So, sir, when you meet so many industrialists today, so many manufacturers, traders, what is the inherent fear which is keeping them back from a growth mindset? Of course, your presentation went into detail, into the minutest aspects which we should be positively looking at. But from the practical experience, there are so many industries which have completely collapsed. You're talking about tourism, travel, a lot of people in retail. So in such kind of a despair, what would you tell them?
See, you're absolutely right. And there are some industries which are going to take a long time to recover, especially the ones that you mentioned. Okay, they are going to take their own time. And if you are a participant in these kinds of industries, then you are in for a big challenge. But I would all the time say, what has got us here? Always look at our past. We are entrepreneurs. हम खतरों के खिलाड़ी हैं. हमें खतरों से नहीं डरना है. हम यहाँ तक आए हैं. We have taken risk. We have taken calculated risk and we've come here. We've always kept our eyes on the opportunities. And that's how we've come here. Same way from here, we have to grow ahead. Look at opportunities. Learn to take risks. It's not the end of the world. We've done it and we'll do it again.
So what is, how do you define, or can you explain further disruptive growth? So, disruptions can happen because of obsolete technologies, because of external factors. It can happen because of consumer preferences. There's a lot of things that would bring on a disruption in any industry, whether it's a change of taste or the technology-driven markets, like IT would have a shorter lifespan than a GE or a more brick and mortar kind of an industry. So how do you explain further disruption?
So I think as an entrepreneur or as a businessman, we have to be prepared for disruptions. And these disruptions, even in our program, we explain that these disruptions are coming primarily from two areas. First one is technology, and second one is globalization. Technology changes are happening very fast. So, and globalization, because of globalization, we know what is available where, so that arbitrage opportunity jo pehle humko milta tha, arbitrage opportunity of having the right information, knowledge, that is all gone because of technology. So technology and globalization are the biggest disruptors, and we need to be prepared. There was old way of doing business where we would create our own competitive advantages and we would stay with those competitive advantages for many years to come. Now that window of competitive advantages is shrinking. It is shrinking because of technology advancements and because of the globalization. And we need to embrace technology. We need to stay in tune. Most importantly, we need to keep our resources agile. We need to stay liquid all the time because trends will change very quickly. We need to change our mindset to change equally quickly. The people who will change with changes will survive and prosper. People who will not prosper.
Beautifully said. Rohan, you have any questions or should we conclude the management session?
One quick question. I was going through your presentation. This mindset which you are referring to, this can mean many parallel things. The pure psychosis which has crept into the minds of people post-COVID. Do you think that will be an hindrance for people to be, as entrepreneurs to, probably take higher gambles of risk or play it conservatively over a period of years to come?
Okay, let me tell you something. COVID has happened first time in the world. Okay, it's definitely an unprecedented event. It's a black swan event. But have we not ever faced lockdowns in our life before? Let's say, for example, in 1991, okay, India was at the worst level of balance of payment crisis. Okay, and that time the businesses were collapsing in 1991. Post 1991, we had this Babri Masjid demolition and then the riots that happened, that followed, and which were again followed in 1993 by bomb blasts, which means people like you and me successively saw 3 or 4 years of downfall in economy. But we did survive, right? And this is the time when we need to think back, look back at what we did. What was our mindset? Have we improved from that level to today? And the answer is yes, we've all prospered. So it looked in that time like a doomsday, which it is looking like today also, like a doomsday. It's not. It's about adopting. It's about understanding. It's about being agile, changing quickly. And most importantly, it's all about mindset. Can we firmly believe in ourselves? Can we believe that we've done this before? We'll do it again. I think that's how I would like to respond.
Thanks for the inspiring thoughts. Really motivates us. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Professor Muchalla. I think it was a pleasure listening to you, and I hope you get to be in your audience once again in future. I would like to thank you on behalf of IPCA, and I'll just a small token of appreciation from our side. So nice of you, sir. Pleasure having you amongst us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Friends, thanks a lot for your patient hearing. You have been with us the whole day. We have been trying our level best to be on time. And I think, but it was the pleasure of listening to Professor Muchalla probably, made us a little bit weak in our knees to, just listen to him for more. So I'm requesting our Vice President, Mr. Rohan Bhasin, to summarize the day and its proceedings with his closing remarks. Over to you, Mr. Bhasin.
Thank you so much, Jatinji. Thank you, Professor Muchalla. Good evening, friends. On this auspicious occasion of Mahalakshmi, there could not have been a better gift in the form of knowledge than the virtual KTSS that we have had today. The knowledge is in real terms the actual Lakshmi for all delegates attending this virtual meet. The theme of the KTSS, refreshing basics, wherein we all know that going back to basics always strengthens our foundation. We have learned all our basics during our school days, where I prominently remember many years back a guest speaker coming to our school and asking us the difference between the then Prime Minister, Srimati Indira Gandhi, and Sir Isaac Newton. So there were a host of replies from the students, ranging from one being a politician to other being a scientist, a leader, an inventor, and so on and so forth. And suddenly, promptly one student gets up and he answers the guest speaker. One is a woman and the other is a man. So the what we start looking at always is the complex analysis on the problems, but we sometimes forget the grassroots realities, which are the real cause of those problems. Every adversity comes or carries with it the seed of equal or greater benefit. We all know what the adversities are in today's time. I think the seed has been sown today with this virtual KTSS, and it has brought an equal, not an equal, but I would say a greater benefit with more than 650 plus registrations of delegates for this virtual platform in India, across the globe. Looking for opportunities even in adversities is what has been the vision of our president, Shri Sagar Goel, who along with the entire team under the guidance of the apex body has done a fantabulous job to conceive and meticulously manage this seminar. The passion to connect with the entire IPCA family is what brings us all together in this platform. The virtual session has been a fair substitute to the routine in-person meetings, though we all, of course, miss them, and we look forward to reconnecting very soon on those forums also. These are peculiar times, my friends. With inflation, I'm referring to RPI at 6.93% and FDs at 6%. The common man is losing money on deposits every day. What was once lucrative and probably one stable support of income, especially for the retired and senior citizens, has lost its sheen. Add to the continuous printing of the USD by the United States. In economic terms, this will eventually erode the intrinsic value of the dollar. I quote Albert Einstein, "In the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity." What I mean to say is that when even the world's most traded currency loses real worth in times to come, the value of substitutes as investments will rise. Who knows that gold, which has seen recent spurt in prices, could be entering, we could also be entering into a phase of real estate revival. This real estate revival might trigger, or maybe the expected trigger for a paint industry's revival, helping it to recover from the gloomy demand conditions we are witnessing at present. I would quickly summarize all the sessions. My earnest thanks to all of them. And we have been all ears and glued to the screens since all our four speakers have been taking care of their respective sessions. We listened to the man, Mr. Ritesh Sharma himself, talk about the machines, followed by the synergies of color by Mr. Amol Mulajkar, wherein the most important synergy in today's time is the vibrancy and zeal the colors bring to our life. Next, we move to Rheology, meticulously conducted by Mr. Abhijit Avalaskar, which explained how little means more and what small percentage of rheological modifier, what results can be achieved, showcasing the importance of touch-up in our end products. And of course, friends, the grand finale was provided by Professor Hiten Muchalla, and I'm sure our delegates were all ears and glued to the sessions. I would finally like to thank all our sponsors and delegates for their overwhelming support. We are really humbled by the love showered upon us. Before closing today's day, I would like to give a very brief rundown of the events to follow tomorrow. Tomorrow we meet at the same time at the same virtual place, and we have 4 very interesting sessions, starting with HIBAC, session being enhancing coating performance with high performance pigments. Second speaker would be from Sapichi, talking about polyisocyanates, the latest change in regulations in Europe, followed by Dow Chemicals, the topic being understanding additives technology, and Raj Scientific Additives Private Limited, surgery on common technical paint problems. We look forward to having all of you there tomorrow and taking the most advantage of the knowledge of all our speakers. Final thanks to the apex body, our President Shri Sagar Goel. Large round of applause to the conveners, Mr. Sanjeev Gupta, Mr. Mahadevan. Would like to acknowledge my heartfelt gratitude to Rajiv Bhai, to Mr. Roy Dugal, to Sahilji from Nagpal Exhibitors for making it happen, and of course to Sonalji also. Thanks all of you, and we really look forward to having you with us tomorrow also. Thank you so much.